Okay, I think we testing one, two, two. I guess we are live. Testing one, two. Guess we are live. Uh, let's see here. Let me run it from my end here and see whether we are live. Let's see whether we are live. I can hear ourselves from here. Okay. So let's see here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're out there, good afternoon to you. Good morning to you. This is Randy here.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you for joining me here. We have an exciting program. I'm just running a quick test here before we start the broadcast, so please bear with me. Let me just try to play this and listen here to myself again. So just bear with me.
To be paid. Yeah. So you the parents, because you believe that you don't have anything, but what about your child that go to free school? You not thinking of something?
All right, so everything seems to work. Everything seems to work here. I was just testing a mic that I just purchased, and I decided to do a live test with the mic. So I think the mic works, and we will begin the show now. So let me say good morning to every one of you guys. Welcome to the tabletop. The tabletop is a G Randy presentation where we look at things happening in the country, not from a political perspective, but from a what I would call a society value, responsibility, accountability standpoint. So on this platform, we don't really come here to just go after a particular party or promote a particular party. And that's why I always stand behind what I describe as an independent. So let me just let on myself here so that you guys can get to see me here. And let me just bring this down here so that you guys can get to see me. So good morning to every one of you guys. This is Jay Rainey here. Welcome to the Tabletop Show. The Tabletop Show with me, Jay Randy, is where we come to look at things that happen in our country to determine whether past government, present government, future government is actually going to look at some of what I call statue problems in our country. When I say statue are image monument that put in place where you continue to see them and they just there, nothing moving them unless it get broken down. So I'm about to discuss two video here with you guys here. All right, yeah, two videos, and one is actually going to focus on community safety and government responsibility. And I'm going to tell you guys today that central government cannot manage the other activities across the country. It has to be decentralized. Today, generation that are parents today were never taught what society should be about. They were brought up in just looking at one thing and one thing only. That is work, protect their territory, and don't say anything else as long as it doesn't affect them. But as we grow as a country and people, we need to understand that there are challenges that we must begin to look at and see what sense can we make out of these things. So I have a story here, all right, that we are going to look at today. So let's go to the story here. And the first story is going to look at this topic here. It said this story proves that Liberia is a broken and unsafe country. Now, before we get into this, I want you to look, I want you to put yourself into this story. And the way you should put yourself into the story, what you are about to listen to, I want you to just pretend that it is your niece, your daughter, your son that it happens to. And if that happened in the country you find yourself today and where it happens, what you think will be the action as to why needs to be, I mean, what needs to be done and why. So the tabletop show is going to bring to you things that are happening across our community, how the system is so broken, how we're not paying attention to these things, and what some of us are doing today to present it to you guys. And I'll be upfront with you. The thing that I see happening in Liberia, it will be very difficult. You know, when I look at Mr. We are playing with his dog, let me tell you some of the things that came from my mind. I said to myself, you know what? A dog can become vulnerable if you go to Liberia. So a Mr. Weir who's claimed to tell us that this dog belonged to him and dog is man's best friend, how in the world is he leaving his dog in the United States where he's not present and live in Liberia, but the dog is here by itself, maybe being given to somebody who caring for the dog. But all the year Mr. Weir spent in Liberia, the dog is still healthy, the dog is still protected. But why Mr. Weir cannot take the dog to Liberia? Is it because the environment is unsafe to the extent that while it is true that he's president, he doesn't feel it necessary to take his pet or his dog to Liberia? That's how unsafe the country is. I don't know, but I'm just asking this question, right? Because we're having an open conversation and I look forward to you having your say as well. But as president, he should be living by example, right? Encouraging people to bring their pets, to bring any other animal, especially domestic animal that are meant to be domesticated, like your dog, your cat, to Liberia, right? But if he is the president and leaving his dog behind, that kind of tell me that I don't think the peace that the president is speaking about is true. And I don't think the Liberian who support this administration, they are actually saying the truth. And I don't think the opposition, the position they're taking as to how we can perceive a peaceful country, I don't think the opposition is taking that same position as, I mean, different position to give every one of us some sort of sense, right? Do I think so? I'm not too sure. I want to believe that. Some sort of. Yeah. So without further delay, I want us to go into the story. You heard the story, you've seen it before, but I'm going to break it down from a government responsibility, from the civil society responsibility, and from your own input. Now, I want you to go into the video, close your eyes, and take either your son, your daughter, your niece, and make them to be the subject of what you are about to listen to. And the reason I want you to bring yourself into this conversation with such an emotional attachment is, what if that were you that thing happened to? Not directly, but indirectly, as a parent, as a brother, as a sister. What would be your reaction? How will you look at the government? So let's look at both sedition and opposition. Let's see how we can handle the situation. I don't want you to see me as someone who support the CPP and ANC. No, today we put it all that down. We're looking at what we call being Liberia-centric. Being Liberia-centric. And then the next video, we'll discuss that. All right? So let's go into the video here quickly, guys. Let's go into the video. You have seen the video before, but Jay Rainey is about to analyze the video, looking at the different societal responsibility. And I will tell you before the video even ends, if I tell you that Joe will not take a daughter to Liberia because the country is not safe, he's right about that, you will deny it. But when you listen to this story, when you watch this story, maybe in the end you will say, what he said earlier, I tend to agree with him. But you will disagree with me when you see the wrong and say, you know what, I will begin to challenge my political leaders that are in waiting. I will begin to challenge the government, because what is happening to our country, it is not only because it's not happening to me, but it's destroying our country. And maybe I was thinking, why, Mr. We, I don't want to carry a daughter to Liberia because the country is not safe based on what I'm seeing here, right? So let's go to the video now, folks. Let's go to the video. And it's not my expectation that everybody will agree here. And it is not my expectation that everybody will watch things here. But I will say this, and I will continue to say, even if Mr. Cummings become president, for 6 years, 12 years. The thing that we are seeing today will not change if there is no measure in place to reduce the behavior of people, right? So let's get to the video right now, folks, and let's get the ball rolling.
Folks, okay, good morning, wherever you are, whatever thing you find yourself doing, and I'd like to say pleasant.
Now, this is a very nice environment here for those of you who believe in better environment. As you can see, the grass here is so looking fresh. I know we're supposed to go to the story, but I just want to give you guys some of the beautiful landscape we have in our country. I would love to be in the area to live here because the oxygen you're getting from this green grass help you to live longer. Look at the soil, you see how green it is. So this is a very beautiful place that I would love to live and be eating more organic food and stay away from processed food. But hey, we are in a developed world. These things are very, very difficult to see nowadays because of the improvement. But this is a very nice place. The whole house there is a greenhouse there built out of mud. You see the zinc. The only sad thing about it is the erosion is eating around the foundation of the house because the roof does not have water around it. So when it rains, the water just come down and then it start to erode around the house. That's why you see most of the houses in Liberia, they got the erosion around it because they don't have a water system where the rain will fall on the roof and they will have one discharge point that will go straight down. But that's another topic for another day. Take that as a cattle for you. But let's get to the story here, right? All right. So this story here is about a 14-year-old girl in Magibi County, specifically in the Kakatan area in another city, who was allegedly raped. Now, I want you to listen to the story of the mother. I want you to listen to the story of the father. And I want you to listen to those who she mentioned as people in authority. And as we said, Liberia is a broken and unsafe country. And looking at what she's going to explain, you tell me what you observe and what you think Liberia is, aside from the topic whether the country is broken and unsafe, or whether the structure in the country is not even in place or are not in place. Let's listen to the story here, folks. All right. So again, this is an intellectual platform. This is an intellectual discussion. It's non-partisan related. And it got no sugar in it. It got no salt in it. It is just a natural taste that we all should look at from a Liberia-centric perspective. So it is my expectation that I will not see many people on here because until 2065, when we are all dead and gone, before our grandchildren, then will start to see things like the way few of us seeing it. All right. So let's go to the story here. All right. And listen to the explanation as to what happened here.
And welcome to Who Online 2. Coming to you live from Kakatan City, Margibi County. My name is Edwin Batatfoyan, and we're live from the Benda community in Kakatan City, where family members of a 14 years old girl who were allegedly raped, again raped by three other persons, seeking justice from the
So as you can see here, these are family member from the distant camera view. I think the lady and the guy that are sitting to the left side of your screen are people, I mean, are the parents of the girl that was victimized. And then I believe the guy sitting in the chair, few, I mean, not few, a foot away from them is the journalist. And I think they had a tech camera that was doing the interview. And in the back there, from the lady who is looking at her phone, I believe, and the guy in the yellow t-shirt, I believe those are sympathizer of the parents who daughter were victimized. Now, I want you to see and I want you to listen to how they are going to explain. And I think the guy who ran the video, he did extremely well by shielding the face of the parents. I think they did it to protect them. However, this portion had given a sad profile of their face. So let's go into the story. Even though if you have watched the video before, I want you to understand it's like you are seeing a particular food, but the way the food will be cooked from different locations will give you a sense of what you need to understand. I'm going to discuss this thing here. And I said, put your daughter in the situation, put your wife in the situation, put anybody that you love in the situation, and be part of what you are about to listen to. If you take yourself by saying, "Oh, I'm only going to watch it, hear it," I don't think it will hit you hard, especially when you're not a soft person. But if you put someone that you love into this category, and as the story goes, you will get to understand whether indeed the right things that you're going to hear will actually apply or they will not apply just to protect your family. So let's listen to the video now, folks.
uh, seeking justice from the Justice Ministry and also the Liberian National Police, Kakatan Margibi County Detachment. So we'll talk to them and to see. Welcome to the media.
Yes, my name is Elena Bo.
Tell us what actually happened.
Yes, they born on the 17th. They born, they particular born on the 17th. I was in the yard, in my yard. So I sent my daughter to the pond to go draw water. The little girl went, she draw the water, she brought some bucket. Hmm. Then the balance one I left, she went for it. And the little girl left. I can't see the little girl. I was waiting, I can't see her. I went to the pond. I check. I couldn't find her. I came back home. Then my Hannah satisfied because the lady, she can't talk too clear. And when she went from me, my heart can be satisfied. I went back to the phone. I checked and I see her. Like,
All right. So let me break the video down here. So again, we are not just here to listen to this entire this is what I call some form of education, right? So I know many Liberians are very into politics, but I will say this to everyone. What I do here for living in this country is to identify errors, provide corrective action, and teach people not to repeat those behaviors. So while it is true that most often I present myself on Facebook as a political analyst, no, I am not a politician. I tend to play one on Facebook, but I am someone who provide learning tools to people. Now, in this situation, I'm going to put a hat on, and I want you to understand. One thing she said just now that is very key. The little girl doesn't speak clearly. That means she has some sort of speech delay or developmental delay. All right. That means her sensitivities around things is not that great. That one of the first thing a parent need to be very sensitive of. So as you can see from the beginning of the story now, from what she's saying, that she doesn't speak too clearly, that means her sense of awareness is very, very low. And that's why she begin to worry. So that means she know her daughter weakness. And what does that weakness mean? She can become vulnerable to people who are prey in the community. But again, what mechanism, what safety net do we put in place? I am talking something that will happen in the year 2065 in Liberia. But because I don't have that much time to live, that's why I'm telling you guys now. Because what I'm talking about, you can forget it. It's not going to happen from now to 2035, from now to 2055. No, it's way beyond. Only in a white man country, these things will happen here. But Jay Randy got to tell you guys one thing that mother said that her daughter it doesn't speak too clearly. That tell you that there is something that she's concerned about for the fact that she said, I'm beginning to worry because I cannot see her, right? Now think about your child having such a condition and you go wandering around looking in your front or backyard, you can see your child. What the first thing you're going to do? It's going to raise your alarm level up, right? Yes, this is not politics. So let's see how the story goes now, right? So let's pay attention. Let me progress there, folks.
I saw one sister like having her right side the pump. I asked her, I said, "Oh, sister, You saw my daughter here? She said, yeah, I saw your daughter. She was drawing here, Jenna, but she went down so. So like her, the play what she showed me, I decided to watch it. But my going there now, I saw one lady, she was selling sweet meat. So I saw her, and the whole place was too quiet. No men, no children. The place was too quiet. So I saw only like one sitting down on that door. She's fighting the door. When she put her ear there, she will move from there with laughing. And you say, you can't talk good. Why your voice coming up? She will laugh. So right then now, my heart caught. I said, ah, then who they get talking to and no one around the building. Then she talking, say, hey, you say, you can't talk good. Why your voice coming up? She laughing so. So right there, my heart went straight on my daughter.
Okay, why you think her heart went to her daughter, folks? Why you think her heart went to her daughter? You heard a woman right now, right? Why you think her heart went to her daughter? Because she just told us that her daughter doesn't express herself very well, right? So that her attender now was looking for signal that will relate to what she just told us that her daughter got in the expression issue. So hearing this other lady saying that, oh, and you say you can't talk well, that means that particular person also live within that environment that know that get condition as well. So you see how we're putting the puzzle together? Now we're getting these pieces together to determine what is going to unfold and why is the way it is. All right. So let me progress, folks. Let me progress here. All right. And I look forward to your conversation here because I'll be posting it once in a while. All right. So that others can see what we're discussing here. So keep coming with with your observation in this thing because this is what we call learning what has happened from an incident and how can we evaluate the contributing factors and what can we do to put it into a corrective action by providing new tools to help community across our country to spark these things that are happening to our people because the story you're going to listen to, it is not the first time happening. It has been happening over the years. But what are we doing with the waste data that harm and cause pain for communities of parents across the country? Nobody's saying anything about it, right? Nobody's saying anything. And you know, sometimes people say, Randy, yeah, sometimes you always say things. But guys, to be honest with you, the way things happen in Liberia, I mean, I don't want to say things that people will hold me accountable in the future, but I'll be very mindful how I want to even get to Liberia. I'll be very, very mindful because when these things are happening and we tend not to address them, but only look at things from politics, people are hurting in the country and young people are getting destroyed for their endless lifetime in their life. All right. So let's continue with the story. So she got the news now. She know that somebody is saying that, and you say you can't talk, and then she connect that to her daughter characteristic of not being very expressive. So let's see what her next action going to be like, folks. All right. It may sound like a movie tale, but this is reality. This is somebody's daughter that is being hurt by people who are not supposed to be in society because their behavior is already telling us that they are going to be bad element in our society. All right. And but what is going to happen when these people are caught? Let's go through this. All right. So let me progress here. Let's listen to the lady here.
My heart started beating. I said, the particular horse are going there to see what is going on down there. Uh-huh. I moved on a particular horse. I said, fine girl, what happened? Yeah, you just laughing on the door, yeah, coming going. Then I saw two boys then coming from behind the horse. They came. So I said, oh, the boys are they arrest Nana and they put him outside. I saw him. I said, Papa, like you get a horse here, but my hand not satisfied. I really want to see in a horse because my hand not satisfied. Open the door. He said the horse for you, he let you drum me. He let the woman drum me. Move from my door. The horse not for you. Then he said, I should open it. I said, but yes, my hand not satisfied. My hand not telling me something good. Open the door. He said, you can't open the door. So my said, like, huh? I told Ra, be Ra. I said, but then I will buzz the door. When you can't open the door, I will buzz the door. Uh-huh. I will call the crowd now, my shouting, call the crowd. People, group of people enter now. They say, but Papa, open the door. Let the woman sit there. The woman not roll. You will follow behind the woman in the hall. She not roll. Lah, the top behind him now. He open the door. He opened the door right there because I was talking outside now. The other group that were the other boys that were inside with my daughter. He hear my voice. I ain't get close to my daughter because my daughter lapper was in her mouth. He was using my daughter.
You put the lapper in her
Yeah,
mouth.
in her mouth.
So for do not
So now
shot.
he
Yeah.
shot too good. So he shot the lapper in my daughter's mouth. Like he took the lapper and gave it to the day girl. I saw the day girl. She started the lapper. She started coming outside with crying.
All right. So let's hold it there, folks. Let's hold it there. So let me ask you the question here. We all got children, right? If you watching me right now, whether you are a dad or a mom, and that thing happened to your daughter in America here, oh, you will not get yourself a chance with the phone here, right? You will pick up that phone and call the white man. You will pick up that phone and call the white man. Even if that was a Liberian did it to your own child as a Liberian, you will now wait. You will call back white man straight. Now, mom, may I help you? But when it comes to Liberia now, how do we look at this thing here? Do we look at it from a politics and say, oh, that George, we have problem? Or do we look at it as a national problem? Because the issue of rape started from, I don't know when. It got worse during the wartime. It was in early administration. It's in we are administration. So what are we doing as Liberians? For me, I'm doing my part and I'm trying to bring this thing to light, right? With no political attachment here. So everybody here in this country, around the world, you are welcome to come and share your input here. So what are we doing? What if that was your daughter? What if that was your wife? Your daughter you lost so dearly? You know, I must give a woman courage and I must commend her. She used her mother instinct from the initial stage of saying, I know how my daughter behave. I'm seeing that girl making some type of fun about, and you say you can talk. And she moved in there and told the guy, you got to open the door now. I'm going to get rocked. I'm going to start yelling. I'm going to start shouting. Because there was somebody behind that door who she has attachment to that was being allegedly raped. And since you are one person, and this is a dude or guy, what did she do? She started to blow alarm, calling the community. And with community togetherness, it shows strength. And she went in there. But let's see what happened next after her daughter came to her crying. This got nothing to do with politics, folks. One thing we failed to realize when Ellen Johnson said he became president, Ellen Johnson said he did not put in place the tools that are supposed to help. One, we expected Ellen Johnson Sirleaf to have asked the international community to help reintegrate the minds of the affected kids. Children see things and it stick in their mind, and if we don't brush it off, it remain there and become part of them. During the wartime, there were people who raped, and young children saw them committing those acts. And today, those young children are teens, some of them are adults. And without no proper reintegration of teaching them how to be responsible kids, they adapt that idea and it become part of them. From their teens to their adulthood to the manhood, they will affect everybody. Eddie Johnson said he had three things to ask for: security, restructuring the financial system, and reintegrating the minds of Liberians. But Ellen only asked for two of the three things. She wanted security. She got the unit security. She wanted the country debt to be forgiving. The country debt was forgiving. And Ellen sat over there and never reintegrated the mind of all the affected war victims. Why? Because Ellen children don't live in our country except for the adult one that went there. And many of the lawmakers, they feel that their children are protected because when they're up there, they got security that protect their children. But then they leave the Liberian people who are not significant to them open to the society where they become victim and victim and victim. This is the problem we have in this country here, folks. This is the problem we have. We are either keeping our children abroad and then we get into politics, or when we are government official, because we got that protection, we protect our children on the ground. But then the people who live in the community, they are vulnerable because we don't have no community policing. We don't have no community program that creates safety net to see what can be done, what we need to look for. And we got no enforcement action. We got no due process that continue to help our children. And this fall under what? Security. So security not about somebody not breaking into your door, but community security, women protection, children protection. What are we doing to help in this capacity here, folks? What are we doing? Who are those sitting down across the table and say, look, let's look at the data here today. I see that in the county here, they got so many rape. And who are the perpetrator? It's between 14 to 15 male. And who are they affecting? Well, children between the age of maybe 2 to 20. So what are we doing with this? These are minor cases. Do we have juvenile court here? What can we do to improve and reduce the issue of rape? Do you think anybody going to come listen to us here, folks? You wasting your time. You are wasting your time. The conversation I'm having with you here will never happen among Liberians. It will happen with a white man who goes to the country to partner with us, right? They will suggest the ideas to us, but they cannot force it down our throat. It is us that have to sit down and discuss this thing. But do you think we really care? We don't care about them, about these things, because it is not us, our children here. Right now, you're looking at us that well, they're trying us that they're watching TV. You're seeing how they do the same thing. You go to the library, many of them build their fence around their house, window bars, and you name it, and their children innocent and getting protection. But the people, you see the woman house over there, how they so open up, nobody protecting those family folks. We are only fighting for position we can get, but the masses of the people are suffering. They are suffering. So let's go back to the story, folks. Let's go back to the story and watch it here.
I said, Ari, who bring you here? I said, who bring you here? She said, that one girl, the girl that's standing over there with a sweet me. Like her brought me here, she said, I should come and help her.
The daughter now we're talking now.
So she said I should come and help her walk. Coming closer to the door more. Like how she took me and shoved me in the house and locked the door on me outside. I said, I said, fine girl, so that all of y'all doing something to my daughter that day in the house on, it was in 11. Yeah. I said, but then, so who inside there with you? He said, one boy inside there. The boy that was on me before he entered him inside there. I said, but then you all go. I call people, I say, you all go inside there. And I was so women then ain't seen it, so that how we enter. We enter, the boy was trying to, the one that run away, they call him Ivan, he was trying to run away from there and claim over the scene, but there was no way. I went out, I saw him behind the door. I said, oh, fine boy, what your name? You know one call name to me. And he was naked, no shirt was on him. No shirt was on him, but trouser, he was trying to wear his trouser now. He was trimming. The time he saw me, he was trimming. I said, but what thing you were doing inside here to my dollar? And the leg was inside, door was locked, also on her. He said, why no nothing? They get a small girl. They get a small girl. I said, oh, so they're not small girl here. Like you born her for me, you know her age? They started, 3 of them, they started giving me talk. So the how I came outside.
So, all right. So the reason I wanted you to put yourself in the situation here now, folks, is this, right? So let's assume that it happens to you, and right in the ongoing activities, it's not like it's done with, and you're trying to understand how it happened, but you actually got to the scene, and you see the players that affected your daughter, and they come out and giving you such a smart talk. How will you feel? I'm sure that you will not feel comfortable right now, right? You will not feel comfortable. You will be so sad about it. You will not be happy about it. That is why I'm telling you to put yourself in a situation. Because if people who commit crime against your loved one or commit violent act against your loved one, they are brave enough to tell you what they think your daughter is when it's not consensual. But they want to tell you that, oh, and she big and she this. Do you think that country you call Liberia is already a good country? Do you really think so? Do you really think so? You see, when we see people on Facebook sitting in their next home, you know the reason why I show you my home here is to tell you guys that we all got next home. But the fire is the heart that we got for our country doesn't represent the next home we have here. It doesn't represent it. I am sitting here today, now broadcasting from my home office, to tell you that the things that are happening in our country, it hurting me so hard that a young girl just to go get water have her life changed forever. A story that she will never forget until she died. That her virginity was exposed because someone misled her. That is something that she will never forget about. But when these things happen, how many people take their time to come and sit down here with you guys and put politics aside and draw attention to the thousands that watch them? They don't do those things. Let me tell you guys one thing, and I'm going to be very upfront here. For me, I will not allow my children to go to Liberia, and that's why I don't need no government job. That country need a leader who will be very engaging with the community, begin to educate them, begin to put enforcement in action, and begin to see things changing. Until we get involved with that kind of activities, all the people that are looking for job here and there, the reason they're not taking their children down to that country is because of what I'm telling you that I am doing. They know that country is not safe. That is why they're not taking their children there. They know the only way they can protect their children when they become ministers and they got protection and they got people protecting their children, that when they feel comfortable. The Minister of Gender and Children Protection Service, or whatever they call it, Pisota got her children in Minnesota. Have you seen Pisota children in that country? She's not going to do that. All right? Joe, we are showing his daughter who just graduated from college. Do you see that girl in that town? No. Do you know why he's not doing that? Because he knows the country is not safe. He knows the country is not safe. Then there are many ministers and other politicians in our country that are keeping and protecting their children because of their status. So when you are in a higher position and protecting your family and leaving the other people vulnerable, do you think the country is better? The country will only be better when you get structure in place that will begin to solve problems here and there. So until these things are solved, we will just support people that will begin to do the right thing. And that is why, for me, I'm not looking for a government job, because I don't want to be conditioned to say, oh, bring your family here. I can bring my family as a government official and they will get the protection. But is that what made Liberia a safe country? Because I'm a government official and then I bring my children out. Anytime my children step out, they got security around them. No, that's not the kind of life that I envision for Liberia. I want to make sure that I shouldn't be in such a position to get protection. I want to make sure that children who live with a parent across other communities in the country be protected as well. But that is not the case, folks. That is not the case. That is not the case. So we are all guilty in this situation here. Opposition guilty. Boca grandchildren will not be raped. We are grandchildren will not be raped. Coming grandchildren will not be raped. Most of you guys children will not be raped because you will not leave your white man country you live in and take them into Liberia. No, you will rather die here with your children because the white man society will go after people who will want to harm your children. Because the law here, while it is true that it works, sometimes they are making progress across all the countries, especially the good ones that you find yourself in, right? Why you think many people will choose America over going to the Arab country? Why you think people will choose America rather than going to Russia? Because they know very well that this country we find ourselves in, other countries in Europe, will always protect you and your children if something goes wrong. They will do something. But look at the poor woman here now. Let's continue to listen to her story here. I'm just breaking the thing down to tell you that we got more to do. It's not just about replacing George Weah. It's about us looking at this thing. You see, what I'm trying to bring here is what we call looking at government policy as it relates to things that are happening. So if you're in the opposition right now, want to become minister of gender. You want to make your government great. These are things that you do in the back end. You collect this data and see how weak the community is. I mean, how weak the structure in the system is, and how open the community have become. And then you start to collect this information and preparing yourself to say, you know what, if my party win, I know exactly what are the problems in the country. You think many people do the kind of thing today? No, my friend. They're not doing those things here, my friend. But some of us we get to let you guys know that in order to be better at something, practice makes perfect, right? Study help you to score a better grade on an exam. Prior preparation make you to avoid failure. People are not looking at these things yet. They want to get there before they start figuring out things. And when that happens, there will be a lot of distraction. You will honor achieve rather than overachieving. All right. So let's listen to the mom here again, folks. Let's listen to the
I
mom.
asked the lady. I said, you said that they can bring you? She said, yeah. I said, the way she bring you, let three boys then a year. Who she bring you to? She said, all our three boys, all of them went up with me. They were in our room. They
So
get
your daughter made to hear that when they get took her into the house,
yes,
all of the three guys have
yes. They were
something to do with her.
yes in the house. The house owner he was the first. He went off with a girl in the house. In
They gotta get a horse now.
yeah, while we arrest. Yeah, he went up with a girl. Then he opened the door. He get us. Then the second guy, what they call him sir, he was the second. He went up with a girl. Then he get us. Then at the last one with Avina was doing his own. Then I appeared there now. I started talking. He Avin was in the house. I grab him in the house.
So where are the guys currently?
The children, one we arrest in here because I will say in here because his father staying in his born to cook yesterday. They brought him and he forced to report him back. So in here. Then the other two guys plus the girl that shot the girl, they were here. But the police then the way the woman to that thing now, he made that three person run away and they play where they go. I don't know. But their parents they had their children and they now want to bring their children then here. Every evening they can come here to bake. And myself, I say, the kids not in my hand and the kids in somebody's hand now. So when you want to bake, you can go to the government, you go bake them, but I don't get anything to see.
Just before
So
you go,
the family of let's just say the girl that call your daughter in the room.
Yes.
Where is she currently?
The girl, the same couple boy when they arrest, why was in the jail, like her brother, wife, little sister. So they that's also her then. They know her, but she not. I don't know where she live.
since the 17th, do you take maybe come on any decision by taking your daughter to the hospital to see if she was tampered with?
Yes, the first thing what I did, I carried a report to the station. The people told me say the police then told me say the case not for them, the case for human right. They send me to human right. I went there. I put a complaint in front of the woman. The woman said the case you right to bring the case here, but the thing what I will tell you, you got to bear it because today they play close.
All right. So let's start there a little bit here, folks. Let's start there a little bit and try to unpack some of the stories here, right? Now, what we know, what you know, what I know, let's put ideas together here, right? So rape, alleged rape was discovered because we don't have the detail, we don't have the empirical truth yet. Because again, in Liberia, this thing will not happen because in a very advanced country like Ghana, advanced in the sense that they are making progress. In a Cote d'Ivoire, other places, they got the medical institution that will actually do a forensic testing of in the case of the girl to determine whether she was actually penetrated into, right? And then we'll have the evidence. Until we have the kind of evidence in place, I will keep treating it as alleged. I know it will make the parents very upset when I use the description of alleged because the mom knows exactly what happened to her. But this is just standard practice that we have to go through, and I have to represent myself here as somebody who not just going to fall for things. I do know in the back of my mind that this thing happened, but until we can get to the detail to get a perfect closure, I will treat the kid as an alleged, and it's up to the government now to prove that as a you know situation that happened. So that being said, the incident happened, right? We heard that from the mom that somebody got were arrested. All right, they were arrested, and then we heard that people, one of the perpetrator, father went and gave money. How did that happen? How did that happen? How did that happen? That this father went over there and gave money. What type of pre-hearing was done to determine whether the guy admitted to doing these things, and the judge set a bond and said, okay, you guys need to go home. And then why are other parents coming to the house to talk to the mother, and the mother is saying it's in the law hand? How do we put the ideas together? All right, we live in the white man country, right? Because we're not, I don't want to say the white man behind a black man, because when I say white man behind a black man, oh, then my little number will start going down. They're renting betting, no, they rent. But I know in the white man country that when you commit crime, they will bring everybody to for a pre-trial or a pre-hearing to hear what you have to say and stuff like that, and then the judge will decide what is the next course of action, and then if there any bond, the thing will be done properly. But you will not have somebody go into the family house and come in and say, oh, I beg you, don't go to that thing, even though in the code, we beg you. How do we fix this long ignorance problem in our society? We say we are part of the world, right? Our president just left for the United Nations, where we had number of countries coming out to discuss and debate things, right? To show that we're making progress. But then when you look at our country, how we continue to do things from Charlie King Day or to present, and you hear the woman telling, oh, we win this, we win this. So what is the role of the police? What has the police done? What is the role of the court? And why are these people who she claimed as member of family member of the people who allegedly raped her daughter, are coming to her overnight or in the morning or any time of the day and trying to beg her? Beg her for what? To forget about what happened to the little girl, right? Beg her about what happened to the little girl. So let's listen to the story, because now she says she's going to the human right, and the human right lady is telling her, oh, you know what? This is the weekend here. Why don't you go home, take the people here, and be back here so and so time? Is that the kind of 24-hour turnaround time we have? That when somebody told her it's rape, but because it's the weekend, so that means nothing work over the weekend. Some of you got here right now, you're on your job, working right now, because people know that everything don't stop. It don't start from Monday and Friday, and then the 2 weekends, they say, okay, all the criminal there, yeah, turn back today, Friday, so we're going to bed now. Or everything in the world just stop. So every Friday, everything stops. So we'll see you on Monday morning, right? So if there's anything we're going to do, nefarious things, good things, today is Friday, we all going to stop until we come back Monday. Those things don't stop. So how do you keep up? You arrange schedule. Many of us work our butt up in the white people country because the people know that things got to go on every day, even on Sunday. But we are 175 years old, and we still behaving in the days of the 15th century, the Stone Age days. And then we want to come and just sit down on different platforms. We want to be civilized when we don't even understand the definition of civilization. That's who we are. We are ignorant to things. You know, I feel sorry for many Liberians who are getting that springboard from the pre-era of the 1990 war. We springboard over. Because remember, from 1989 to 2015, there were a lot of things that happened in between there that we missed. So what do we know now? We springboard into modern life. We got Facebook, and in the midst of Facebook, we got Liberians from different parts of the world and back home who are now joining us today that don't have the level of experience some of us have, that don't have the education, that don't have the community awareness that we have, but together we just bound together like this. So when a guy come on now looking nice, oh yeah, join my politics, then you there, you say that your idea of thing is just limited. But because Facebook has brought us together, social media, we think that we're all the same. But when we see how things are happening in our country, It kind of measure how low we are. It is not how people sit in their living room and kind of say, oh yeah, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. Then you sit down there. But when you measure how things are happening in our country, my friend, it's so sad. It's so sad. And I will say this. You can say anything you want to say against me. But that lady over there, if you were to walk to that lady and say, I got a visa for you and your daughter to leave this country right now and travel to any country of your choice, you think that woman will say no? She would take it. But if somebody come to you from Liberia and you face that same situation and say, I got an opportunity for you to go relocate yourself back to Liberia. You in America, you in Great Britain, or somewhere in the world where you think justice is trying its best to help you. Not perfect justice. At least when something happens, you can get some sort of attention. And that person leave on Liberia and say, why don't you bring your family to Liberia? Let can live and build a country. With all you know that happening in that country. Will you be willing to do that? Will you? So if your answer is no, which is the honest answer, then what should we do with these kind of things? Why are you supporting a government? Why are you supporting a party? Are they really looking out for other people, or are you supporting them because you believe that if the party or the government win, it's only going to benefit you? These are people that people promise, I will do this when you get me there, I will do this when you get me there. But in the end, what do? They only get the people short-term benefit. They go in the community, then get the people $2, $3, $5, $100 vote for me. But the social need, the economic needs for a long term, the safety net to protect the young children that are going to be the future leader of our country. They don't care about their well-being. They got no program. Only doing politics, seizing they come over there. And that's the ramification we're having today. And if we don't put the component together, this will prove that what the topic said, this story proves that Liberia is a broken and unsafe country. Because listen to what the woman is going to explain. Let me progress, folks.
And the place where we can send people to check them is close. So I will give you paper for you to carry home. Then Monday you carry get to Rennie. When they check all, they say that true, then you can bring the paper back to me. Then from there now, we can send people to you. You go, they go arrest the people. Then I asked her, I said, in case the people run away, she said it's spent 1,000 years.
So folks, there's something in America here we call buy-in, right? There is something here we call buy-in. When you are in a role where you want to have an impact on certain people, there is something they call getting a buy-in from the people. It simply means when you come up with an idea, make sure you hear the people too. Because the people out there, while it is true that they are not in a position as you, they got better idea. And if you overlook that idea, then you'll be doing yourself a very injustice that could cause you to leave that job. So the woman who she met that said, oh, it's weekend, but she even mentioned Rennie Hospital. So is she telling her that the hospital doesn't operate on the weekend too? So everybody, so if you're sick on Saturday, you're sick on Sunday, you're not going to go to a hospital in a particular place until Monday. What is the chance of you living to even see Monday when your sickness starts on Sunday or Saturday? So now the child is being raped. She telling the mom, take the people here with your money before they can examine again. But the mind of the mom is, the mother is so sensitive and very, very security minded. She's saying, why if the people run away? And guess what she said? Even if it takes 1,000 a year, do you think that answer is a satisfactory answer, or is just an answer just to brush her off and go? Carry your problem. I don't want to talk to you. If it takes 1,000 a year, the mom is so concerned about her daughter, so she had elevated her thinking beyond that person she was talking to. Beyond that person she was talking to. That's why you never underestimate the mind of anybody until you get to interact with them. Liberians are not people who are not smart, but we are not giving them the opportunity. Do you think the question that woman asked about the opportunity for that door to close, whether that guy will escape before that door closes? If that woman get that kind of idea, she can be very, very trained, all right, to be able to help and become a community advocate to protect young children. That's how I would look at that woman. But do you think many Liberians that in position or on Facebook will come to talk the kind of things? No. Let me tell you, my friend, these people you see on Facebook that are wearing all the less clothes and things, when it comes to how we measure them from a modern society like America, they are nothing. I'm saying it with confidence. They are nothing. Because if there was something, they would bring this topic up that we call the rare meat issue in the society. Because it's not about politics, it's about how well the people live. You see, happiness is next to a healthy economy. If you live in a country, when they say the country is a happy country, the happiness is not about the money. Right now, government officials are in that time making money. They get what they want. But why they are so concerned about going on BB platform? Because they worry that people will start to expose them. But right now, as we're discussing the thing here, look at the number of people that are watching right now. Because it is not in their interest and they know bulk of the people will not pay attention to these things. But by the time it comes to politics, then they come in now because they know the politics will expose them. But they fail to realize that a girl who has been allegedly raped is going to live with that trauma for the rest of her life. She might not even want to marry. She might not even want to go around men. She might be scared to see somebody who trying to help her in the future to say no. And will you blame her for that? Because of what happened to her. But how do we bring that back to her? 14 years old. These things happen around the world, right? But the way they are handled individually by each country gave people the opportunity to say this other country is doing a part and this other country is not doing a part. That's the situation we face with. So let's listen to the mom again after she told the woman, what if the people run away? And she said, even if it's 3,000 a year. So let's hear after beyond that.
We were arrested. So myself that day, I was crazy coming because like my first time for someone to rape, in case the girl was coming to die in the hall, they would say, oh, wait until Monday. So I was grieving coming home, and I not get nothing to do. I grieve, I came home that day.
The policeman that told you the case is not for police, you know his name?
Actually, I don't know his name. But as soon as I went, cases then were in front of the other people plenty. So the other boy, the other man called me and said, why you came here for? I explained and said, but then go to human right. But actually,
Women are children or him? Right?
woman, yes.
So the same police station.
Yes, to the same police station.
So when you went to the hospital,
yeah, I went to the hospital.
they get some of people the medical report to show whether a daughter was raped or she was not raped. Where is it now?
They gave me the paper. What they gave it to me now was white paper. They put it in fast. I brought it to the woman.
To the human right.
To the same human right. So yesterday they sent her to court. We went there. So my case was second case, and the people first we enter, the man asked and say, he asked the boy and say, you are how many years old? The boy said he 14 years. Then the child say, but which one of the school you were attending? The boy was not there. He not even sure me school that the me school that he was going to. He only say Firestone. Then the man forget about it. From there now, like how the judge and the boy father get outside. They get outside now. They told me to bring 1,000 out for the race. I brought it. I gave it to them.
They just ask you for 1,000 like $10.
Yes.
He said, what you paying the 1,000 for?
For race. He say race. Yes.
Rate of arrest?
Yeah, rate arrest.
And you pay the 1,000 dollars?
Yes, I paid the 1,000.
Do you know the name of the judge?
Actually, I don't know him.
But when you see him by face, you can say yes.
Yes, the man was there tomorrow. I know him too good. By a face.
So how is the dollar?
All right, so guys, let's come back here and look at some. Let's come back here and look at something and put it into context, right? As far as I can recall, I remember during the Eddie Johnson City time, there was some law. I don't know whether it was Eddie Johnson City. I don't know whether it was Eddie Johnson City policy or it was something that the national legislature legislated as a law. But help me here for those of you, because this is a exchange conversation we're having here. But isn't there a law that prevent rape victim or rape perpetrator, let's say rape perpetrator, not the victim, but those who committed act of rape, isn't there a law or was it a policy that say that it's non bailable? That means that if you are found in a situation of being allegedly accused or is found in an act of raping somebody, you're not supposed to be billed, right? I mean, so some of you guys help me up here. I need to do my due diligence on that, but I'm just asking the open question. The reason I'm asking this question, according to the mom, the judge, I don't know who the judge is, but I hope that the district court, because sometimes you don't have district court, every district court got their judges that's what to be listed. And I want we think about the government structure today. Government structure should be able to list and categorically by counties, who are those district judges, so that people can be able to find it. You can go in the land and say, okay, Magibi County, yeah, who is the judge in a Magibi County? What time? Because the town was mentioned by the journalist. Okay, what town or village that this village is, geographically responsible, or which court is responsible for the villages. We don't have those things yet, folks. We don't have. Look, Liberia got a long way to go, my friend. I'm telling you, Liberia got a long way to go, and Cummings is not going to be the person to solve all the problem. If we not start helping right now to put things in place, Cummings is not coming with tentacles to solve all the problem. We have to start our own research to help bring this thing to light, to come up with things to showcase to the government and say, this is what we can do to help things. And the government body idea, we help in our capacity. You think the Facebook that the government discovered Facebook today, that exposing things that are happening today? That's not the government. It was some smart kid that sat down one day and said, what can we do to help our country and what our country can do for us? There are a lot of challenges out there. We're supposed to come and have the discussion here. But do you see our people having the discussion around here on the bigger platform? No. They are only out for themselves. There should be a group of Liberians sitting there and say, what can we do? All right, we look at Magibi County. How many court in Magibi County? Who are the judges? And how do the community relate to this thing then? So just in that town, like the way the guy was asking her right now, who the judge? No, all you can do is Magibi County, magistrate court, see the code there. Who is the judge in our county? How many court in our county? 2 court. Which court is the main court? Which court represents the other county? Oh, okay, that's the judge right here. Bam! You got it right there. But it will be like looking for a needle in your haystack. That's how illiterate and behind we are, folks. I'm very serious about this. Liberia got a long way to go. But now, the issue of bailable offense, I don't know it yet, but we'll have to find out later on. Not now, but later on. But what I'm concerned about, according to what she explained, and I don't know whether she getting the detail, and that is why we must trust everything she say. But let's follow up. But she cannot remember the police officer name. How you think she's supposed to remember police officer name? Because when you have the Ministry of General coming out with a program that look at community safety. For example, you dramatize things. If somebody rape your daughter, or you find out somebody rape policeman, can't make sure you ask for the policeman name. Witnesses around, somebody must capture the policeman name. Make sure you look for the policeman badge number. Make sure you be able to recognize the person. Look at the person's hair, look at their nose. When will we start to educate our people? They don't have to go to the classroom to get this education. Many of us in the country here, they think that we know. We did not sit that in classroom. We did not get it from our place of work. We interact with people every day. We watch TV. We watch different things that help us to understand. These people in the community, they speak their broken English. But the fact that they can understand, there is an opportunity to explore by encouraging them, by educating them on what are the things they need to understand. It is called building a community safety net. So now she doesn't know who the judge is. She doesn't know the district judge. So how can we come to the UN and measure our success as this country when we have ministry in the country that's supposed to provide quarterly report to tell us what are the progress? See, when you see this thing happening now and you become Minister of Gender or Minister of Public, or Minister of Justice, You will start setting goal. One of my goal as a minister of just, I mean, minister of gender. Well, one of my goal is to make sure that women across the country should be giving the community awareness as to how to adequately protect their children against harmful activities. That would be one of my goals. Then we do the risk assessment to determine how many communities across the country that have become victimized by rape and other crimes. And how can we reduce that? We reduce that by setting goals. We set our goal and then we work towards it. And part of the work process is to set action plans to make sure that we engage the community and begin to measure over time how many crimes used to be committed on the frequency of a weekly basis, a monthly basis, yearly basis, for say how slow it becoming now. If it's up here, how is it coming down here? And, I'm trying to mirror that up here. How is it coming down here? We don't have these things in place, folks. You see, one thing you need to understand about Facebook, some of us here, we are Liberians, but when we come to this platform to discuss things, we are not just coming with empty credentials. We are coming with credentials that other people sit and listen. There are many smart Liberians in the country, but one thing that keep them away, it is the behavior of other Liberians on Facebook. You don't know the man from nowhere. Soon the man can say, I think rape is an issue in Liberia. Look at that fully man over there. That man a fully man. We just judge people by what they write because of our emotion that make us to feel that that person is against us. And that's one of the major reasons why professional Liberians stay away from Facebook and they are engaged in other Facebook groups that got nothing to do with Liberia because they know when they write something, people will clearly understand what they're writing and respond responsibly. But when it comes to Liberian group, Facebook group, many professional Liberians are afraid to be on the page. You talk to them, other people talk to them, I talk to them, you talk to them. They will tell you, I can't go over there because the first thing they may not know before know what he causing me. People respect their own self. So what happened in the process? Only a few who are willing to take the insult will come here and begin to provide the education. But are we enough? No. Because the people who are not disseminating the information are indeed harming the country too. And that's why it is. All right. So this guy, the judge is telling you the guy was he in school. What the school got to do with what the issue, the current incident is all about? And because the man said he's not in school according to the man, they let the man go. So let's listen here again, folks. Let's listen.
Now, in terms of let's say, or
Or
health.
health.
They have that very day the day get she not even to herself because she was bleeding we went and the doctor then saw the girl and now we carrying her there to tomorrow. So I already know. And the
Wow.
girl see her condition, she not too clear that the way she can be in the yard.
So when you are at the court,
Mm-hmm.
the guy, the Avin guy you're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
and his father, along with the judge, went into a conversation.
No,
Say,
the
Cooper,
couple
the Cooper
of
guy.
yes.
So what do you think? What they were talking behind you
In my present,
in your present? They was
they check money, they give it to them.
wait. You saying something?
we check the morning and they
The man, the papa, check money in give it.
that
The
that
father, the boy like they
the one that
arrest.
were arrested.
Yes, the father check money and give it.
To the judge,
Yeah, the man hold it.
the judge, who they?
Yes, but I was there. The first time they were wanted to hold it, they were following behind to get him the money. But the papa told him that they get behind us. So they touched me for the came back. So secondly, I started smiling. I saw him doing it.
Wow.
And yes, someone was there, which my daughter said, I called her because my people then were in. No way for me to call people and I was
So guys, let me see what Jackie Sayan said in 2017. The Liberian Senate have voted in favor of a rape to amend the rape law, making it a bailable crime. Well, I mean, and nobody brought this to the attention of the Liberian people, right? Because this issue of rape, if you see, there are two things. Let me say this here, guys. I'm sorry for interrupting, but I see this thing as a teachable moment here, right? So, how and why do you change a law? I believe that when things are improving, you ease down the enforcement action, right? So if what Jackie just said, in 2017 of October, our Senate voted to remove the non-billable of rape to make it billable. But why did they decide to do that? Where is the data that they want to change that? Because I believe the reason they make it non-billable is at that time to prevent the proliferation or the repeated and continuous repeated behavior of raping people, right? So when you want to change such a law, what data do you have that will convince you that we think people are getting civilized now? So we want to change it based on the information we got over the period of time. Was that question answered? I guess not. But because people who believe that think they are part of it too, in my own professional opinion, will say yes, let's change it. So what do? If you have no reason to reduce it because the rape issue continue to remain static or continue to go up high, you don't see anything with that, but you say let's change it, then they too are part of the issue of what is going on. And you see the example right here, right now. George going in the corner taking money. So you are emboldening the people who are in the behavior or thinking about getting into any practice of raping because he who get the money can beat the system, right? But if people get to know that if they are caught or accused, it's going to be a very tough situation, they should be able to get out. And they will stay away from the kind of bad behavior. So if that is true, I feel sorry for the country. And that's the perfect example we're seeing here right now. So let's listen to the mom again, folks.
When I get phone set to take picture a lot time.
So they say I'm gonna go back there tomorrow.
Yes.
But now the Kobo Bona.
Yes, the man say, the judge say, the man should sign for his son to come home. You not get jail for the man, and you not get punishment for the man. The kids are juvenile, so they will send her to juveniles and office. So maybe that tomorrow now they will send her there.
So let's look at this now, right, folks? Let's look at this. So the judge, aside from the allegation of he taking money, we don't know the content of which that money was given, whether it was bill, but if the judge taking the money outside. But I read Josh himself not supposed to take money from people. I don't know how the system works in our country. All right. But by standard practice, you are a judge. Taking money physically like that, it is wrong. But yes, it's a stupid thing here, right? They are not allowing this woman to carry her daughter to Rainy Hospital to be examined. They're waiting for Monday. The judge at the same time on the same time things happening. I don't know whether it was the same day because it been on the 17th. I don't know everything she's saying here, whether it happens on the 17th. Because if you look at your calendar, September 17th was actually on a Saturday. So I hope that by the end of the interview, the journalist will ask everything you explained to us so far, or you explained to us, did it all happen on Saturday, on the 17th? If she say yes, then we'll try to look at things specifically, individual by individual. The human rights lady said the places are closed. Go and come back on Monday. The police said this is not our case. Why did they arrest these people to hold them temporarily until Monday? Is the cell closed on Monday? The judge is saying the children should go home, but at the same time, they're asking the lady to pay for a rate fee. And then the judge, according to her, is taking money from one of the parents of the three kids and the adult who own the house. So what sense are we trying to put together here when they say everything is shut down? All right. So what sense are we trying to make out of the whole thing here? All right. So let me progress here, folks.
But they told her to go there tomorrow.
Okay.
For this girl that also invited your daughter to go in house,
Yes.
have you been seeing her around your daughter before?
No way. Her sister here. She her sister resemble. Her sister here. So they have every one of them.
Oh, so anything happen, you don't see,
I
you
not
see the girl,
see
you see the
yeah,
luck born. But
nothing.
apart from couple parents, were you able to meet the other two guys' family?
Yeah, they came here several times
They can be begging you.
to be baking me, and while their son then, they had their son then, they now want to bring their son for their son then to bring the baking in front of me for me to see him, see them. But they can did them somewhere, then they kind of started baking me. So I said, except they
Now you see here, this is where the civilized Liberian and the additional Liberians, they are like vinegar and water. You can mix it, but they cannot blend in. In the civilized world, we teach our children not to take any enforcement action by their behavior, right? What make the parent who are trying to get to the lady whose daughter have been raped, why are they coming to or to beg when they know they got children that they are not providing any sort of adolescent lesson as to what are the right things to do out there and what are the bad things you should stay away from? Question for you guys. Do you think it is right? The parent will only wait until damage is done, then they want to come to play the parent role. But why, when they are by themselves, to understand and say, look, if you go out there, you commit anything, you will be held accountable. In essence, what the parents are doing, they are rewarding the behavior of their children. They are not coming to say, Mom, you know what, we'll support you while our child there will support you. But they are coming out to beg the woman. So let's assume in the traditional way, the woman says, okay, it's okay. What do you think those children going to be doing next? Oh yeah, we'll go out there, we'll commit crime. Guess what? Our mom will go talk to the other mother then. So let me ask you the question. You're in America here, you're in Europe, you take your children, you can in Liberia, that same guy come and does the same thing to your daughter, and they can't bake you. How will you handle that? I'm not going to ask you for an answer now. But what I would say here is it doing things Liberian way will solve our problem, or people should be held accountable for their action? If those children are treated as minor going to the juvenile court, what is the juvenile code, or do we have a juvenile code in Liberia, and how effective and efficient the juvenile code is in our country? That's another issue we have to explore another day. All right, we have to explore the issue of juvenile court, because all we see are just court for political cases. That's all we see, and maybe secondary murder cases. But as far as juvenile codes go, we don't know. We don't know who managed the juvenile program in our country. We don't even know. So that made progress here. So they're coming to back on now, right?
bring them that the only way when they baking, then we can go to court.
So what do you want right now?
Yeah, because plenty people are now watching you.
Yes.
What do you want? What kind of action you really want you want for the government to take?
I really want for government to fight my battle because the way they do it to me yesterday, paying money. I really want for government to fight my battle. Let my right come to me, and that they be responsible for my daughter life because I really know what they do to the day girl.
Yes, she absolutely right. They need to be held accountable. But let me just understand something here, right? So I'm getting here from Jackie. She seems to have very good legislative understanding of what is unfolding in the house over there. So Senator Major Terje, according to what I'm reading here, is the one who is pushing for the amendment. Let me tell you about Senator Terje. This is a born loser. Senator Terje works as one of the deputy ministers during the Samuel Kanyando administration. He fled and came to America here and lied, trying to get asylum when he worked for a government that created harm and mayhem on the country. He was denied the asylum and was asked to self-deport, and before his deportation date expired, Milton Terje left and went back to Liberia. But he went straight to Sando County. From America, he went to Sando County. And he stayed there for some time, bamboozled his way to get to Ellen. Ellen appointed him as the superintendent of the county. The first thing he started to fight over territory between Sando County and Riverses to make himself to gain popularity. In that process, he ran for the Senate position and he won. Today, he's senator. This is the same man who a girl said a car was sent to Liberia through one of his brother or in America here, and he took that girl car and lied. What I'm trying to say about Senator TJ, he is coming to support a bill to remove the non-billable aspect of the bill. It's not somebody for you to look at. All right, this man ran a government that destroyed people. Now you got a bill that tries to protect people and teach them some sense of being very cautious in what they do. Now he's coming on now and trying to remove that component to open up. You think Senator TJ care? He doesn't care. His children are not living in Liberia. He's only there for himself. It is time that you need to look for people who are very independent minded, who look at things from a Liberia-centric point of view. Milton TJ doesn't care. That's why he's behind these things. And now, if you go to the House of Representatives, how knowledgeable are our people for us to call and say, hey, there is a bill that wants to remove the non-billable aspect that is coming your way. Please do not sign that bill. How many of our people on the ground are educated to these things? Not many. The few that you can talk to, the people will come right back to them and give them money. And then they will close their mouth. Why it is true that sometimes we tend to blame them for their behavior. I'm just concerned about the innocent children. And that's why we got to keep fighting. Because that girl that is the center of the discussion on the show, she could grow up and be totally different in mind. That don't support what her representative or maybe the people in her family that accept money from the lawmakers to vote for the wrong thing or support the wrong thing. She might not be in there. And if you focus on those things, that's what will help you to have a change of mind. Because I know there are times people will say, man, look, I don't get time for the boy there, but think about the children there. They are not grown. If they start getting the education that we're putting out here, their mindset, their decision tree will be different. But it's not the case. Yeah, it's not the case. So I think Jackie, I provided a link here. Yes. Then thank you very much, Jackie, for what you're doing here. So let's get back to the mom story here.
Okay.
Thank you.
So let's just get a few words from the father, and then we call it a day on this interview. A John interview, Women TV and Cool Online 2. My name is Edwin Battat-Foyen. I'm here with Christopher, and I bring you this development, this heartbreaking development. So we talk to the father. We'd like to say good morning, welcome to the media.
Good morning, sir. I'm having the buzzer.
So tell us now, you the father, tell us your own experience on this situation.
My own experience is that people are trying to play with my right. They are playing with my right. Our job, even when the thing happened, we carry the people. When we arrested the first suspect right here, we carry him. I pay $550 for transportation. Even to take that young man from the jail yesterday to come to the building, where they descend from the police station to the building, I pay $1,500 for transportation again.
Jesus.
Then I pay $1,000 again to carry to Rennie. You understand?
Who you are getting the 1,000 naira to?
The human rights lady, she called for $1,500 and said before the ball leave from that place to go, that $1,500. It was given.
To pay their way to go
to the court.
To the court.
Then when they enter to the court, they call me again. They say, "Oh, the judge said you should send 1,000." I said 1,000. Then my woman called again and said, "But Arvin, the people requested for another 1,000 to transport the people to Qatar." I sent the 1,000. But tell them again, they say, but the people they can't allow us to go and say so they can even judge the case. The father just paying money so. So the judge has stepped the case.
So, guys, you see how exploitation, financial exploitation, is taking place against the parents who is the victim or who are the victim in the situation here, right? This system is not only broken, it is rotten and infested with bad people. Bad people. And no matter how we change things in our country, the fundamental problem of our country is the behavior of bad people. The things the bad people use are things that just sitting down there like the cell phone, the cup, the plate here, but it is the hands and minds that touch these things. And where is it coming from? The human being. If everybody leave Liberia, you will not find corrupt practices in the country. But if you put the same bad people in power and in position, you will see the same corruption taking place. So our problem is not the corruption. Our problem, I believe, is the bad people or bad actors we have. If we remove the bad actors, those things will be going away. They see this man and his wife already in pain of what had happened to their daughter. Instead of them being on the man's side, they decide to factor money into the whole thing. Now you see why people with money in Liberia can survive things. You gotta pay away there, you gotta pay this. So the human rights lady who said the play not open on Sunday is asking, I mean on the 17th, whatever day it is, but I know it was not on Monday, also asking for money. The judge asking for money, the police asking for money. And in the end, the people don't even have or did not get anything satisfactory from them. Question for opposition. Are you guys looking at these things? What is being done right now from the opposition side? If I were to sit across any potential opposition supporter and say, who will you pick as your justice minister or your finance minister or your general minister? If I sit across the table with that person and say, tell me, what would be your number one priority as the minister of gender? What would be your priority and why? Will you be able to answer that question? I doubt it. Because majority of them, their minds are only focused on politics, want to get over there, and when we get there, we know what to do. And this is where I come in as a different person. Because the story you must say hearing here today, you are getting more detail about the weakness in our community, the ignorance in our community, the corruption in our community, the lack of awareness in our community, but the willingness of people who live in the community with their ideas to help make things better for their community. You understand those things. And without understanding, when you get there, you already know what are the challenges and how can you start to put in place a strategic goal that will focus on this area to improve. Do you think people thinking about those things? No, that's how come when people get in a position, they take 1 or 2 years to figure out things. And by the time you know, 3 years gone, the government start to underperform because they are not doing their due diligence. That's what we call due diligence. You do your due diligence, your area of expertise, keep your eyes on it, jot down your data, and prepare yourself before the real things start. But they're not doing those things. So you see how they just taking money here and there. That made progress.
He said, we'll go home and come on Monday. You not sign for his son. He said, the case that are juvenile case. If they will carry home to go settle it. I say, me?
That the judge telling you that juvenile case must come home, you can settle it.
That the area will end in that juvenile case. But we can't sign for your son. You'll go home. You'll come Monday. But they were looking at the case there. You will end it at home because a juvenile case. I don't get jail for the boy here.
And the judge
talking that one.
So guys, those of you who are into criminal justice, those of you who are into social justice, this is a concern. A judge who is part of the judiciary system in the country is saying allegedly, according to the father, so we have to verify far from the judge, a judge who's supposed to sit on the judiciary branch of the country because we have three branches of government, right? The lawmaker, the executive, and the judiciary branch. This judge, a county judge, I don't know what his title is, but he resides in a county. I will describe him as a county judge. That's a general description of what I can give here right now. Is saying that based on the age of the case, he don't see it being settled in the court. If that statement is a recorded statement by this father that is coming from that judge, well, what you think the bigger platform is supposed to be doing with a video? You know what I would suggest to the bigger platform? Since they are helping to destroy the minds of our people, it will give them some respect that they take some of these videos, just how I am doing, and begin to, what the word I'm looking for, and begin to analyze these videos because they got a bigger platform, they got a radio station in the country, right? And begin to analyze this video because what you'll be getting out of the video, the actors, the issue, the solutions, and the overall performance of the country. If this guy, let me take that word back. If this father who is not only being exploited, but a judge is telling him that whatever happened to your daughter, whatever she's going through, I'm sorry to tell you that you got to handle the thing back home. There's no code that can solve the problem. Now you see what I told you from the beginning of the show, that you should put yourself in the situation. Can you imagine somebody did that thing to your daughter, and then the authority in the country is telling you they think going to be settled at home? So no matter your feeling for justice, I'm telling you, you're going to be handled at home. Let's think about it a little bit, folks. Let's put politics aside. You got your little ones. You love them so dearly. Your heart breaks if they even get a little cut, if they're hungry, and somebody from nowhere just come and just did something horrible to them. And then when you run to the authority, and the authority come and tell you, do you think you're going to change in Liberia? You know what I often tell my wife sometimes? Society is a very complex place. And I think what we can do is to look after ourselves. You know, one thing that baffles me all the time, sometimes when you're driving, especially in New Jersey, because I often see those things in New Jersey, sometimes the high school in New Jersey will take a wreckage car from a bad accident, and then they will put the car on the lawn of the school where people are driving, and then they will say drunk driving accident cars. And then when you're driving, you look at the cars and see how badly the car has been damaged. And then it brings to your mind, wow, driving while drunk is very dangerous. And sometimes when I see it, I look at my wife, I say, does that thing really make sense? She said, what do you mean? I said, just look behind you. Teenager running with car, it's not going to change anything. It's just the people who smoke, and some of them got a serious damage to themselves, and then they come on the CDC website and say smoking is bad. But when you look through your window, you see the young people that are still smoking. Then to me, it just becomes what I would describe as self-discipline. My point here is, if that judge actually said what he said, that there will be no justice for the victim, would that parent be right if the father go out there and decide to take the law in his own hand because of no justice? Will you do the same thing if that was you? Seeing a guy who raped your daughter in the community because according to the judge, there is no court that will handle the situation to go handle it at home. I don't think that's the right thing to do. So, what does that tell you about the judiciary system in our country? That there's no protection. Now, you see what I told you from the beginning that I don't think it would be safe for me to carry my children to Liberia. Because when I listened to this judge earlier, I said there are dangerous things over there that will harm you. So when you see the topic where I said we have a broken system, the story proved that because there's two definitions of proof as a PROOF and PROVE. We are using the PROVE here. It proved that there is something in our country that present an evidence that Liberia is not a safe place. And it's not only because of George Weah alone. No. This is a systemic thing that has been happening since 1847, since 1822, 200 years of bicentennial celebration, 175 years after we clinched our independence. And this judge is telling a family that because the guy is a juvenile, there is a high possibility that the kid will be settled home. And do you think any network going to talk about this thing here? No. Only on this show you're going to hear this in-depth conversation. That just go to show to you that Liberians are only good at wearing nice clothes, coming on Facebook and talking politics, but the substances in our country, the behavior, those hailing behavior in our country, they're not going to bring it to light. And the community will continue to move on. So what can I say? For every 5 young teenager you come across, there will be out of 1 or 2 in a group that will say, I was raped or I almost got raped. That would be my own professional assessment right now because of what I judge to say. Remember, that judge is in a rural county because I see Masorado as the city county, right? The others are the rural. They don't have their own law. They are not decentralized. Decisions are made, but it has to be verified by people who are up there. So let's listen to the father here again, folks. Let's listen to the father.
I don't know the need of the job. There was no specific case of people to sit down and pray, do himself to say, I'm so job. The thing was just the money was just spending, so they just tell me I was right there.
When you go to the court, when you see him, you can say, yeah, the judge here.
Yes.
So
I will identify him tomorrow before I go there.
were you the person that took the case to the let's say to the court or with the police?
My woman, but Ben, I basically with LBDR Ben, she was in front now. That's what happened. But both of all went. I was just present.
First day the case were taken to the Liberia National Police Women and Children Department. So after when the case went to the Women and Children Department, what were the action taken after the result from the hospital?
Yeah.
From the police. What were the result?
When the result came, my woman told me, say, oh, Ivy will not come by from the place. I said, why the result? He said, yeah, it happened. Even they took the girl photo. The title lady that did that when she took the photo, that not small so on the girl body. So the only problem there, they say, we will come, we take our own time, we check for them. When we find there, then we can call. I said, okay, when you see any of them, you call me. I will make everything available to get to us so we can get police. So later on, they called me, they said, 2 of them here. That how can I went to it, I said, oh, they said 2 of them in the yard. I said, okay, but then she invite police. We came with arrest 1 year. The other one was gone already to his house.
So the one that was arrested, he was taken to the court by the police.
Yeah. As soon we entered there, he said, okay, you'll go, your own finish. I the one responsible for the rest. We were not present. How she did the interview, how the board told whatsoever we were not there. She said, you'll go home. When you're finished reporting him, you'll go home. What happened?
Now all these things happen, and you call for the media to tell us what's the full. Tell us what could be your message. What's the message? What's the thing you want the government, humanitarian organization, and there's a advocate group, and that of the justice system we have in our country. what the step you wanted people to take now in order to get the perpetrator be brought to justice?
I actually want for those three guys to be brought to justice and the one that been arrested to actually be in jail now. It'll be first in history for me to see a rape case for somebody to serve for somebody to come home. And I want for government to come in and tell the Liberian that juvenile, what they call juvenile, even when you kill, whether you can go free. And when you rape, whether you can go free. And the judge telling me today, my heart burning in me. So I call you to come for my rescue.
All right. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you so much. So, folks, and you.
So, guys, I always say to you guys that this election should be based on three things: the issue, the geographic, and the demographic. If any American politician listen to that father right now, where he want to understand about the issue of juvenile code, where he believe that a system is not in his corner, and he wants to be a senator of that county or a representative of that district, he will take that issue and begin to make it part of a platform to fight in the interest of that man. Public service is about representing the people. You see the issue in the community right now. There is no safety for parents. There is no safety for their children. There is no justice. But how many people talking about these things? And LRB guy, I'm not saying that anybody should get exonerated here. I don't know, how you interpret what I said. And the father just said he just provided answer to what your question was. What I'm saying here is whoever is engaged in any form of rape or has been alleged should be held accountable, but a due process must be carried out. A due process must be carried out. And that due process involved in police investigation, asking people to stay at a specific location in order to get stuff done. That's what I'm asking for. So guys, we got one more video. We got one more video because I'm not too sure I'm going to come on tonight. We got one more video to show you guys. And let me try to get it video up here. All right. So to close this video, to close the video, you are seeing what has happened. It's up to your own interpretation. It's up to your own decision. But I would like to see real action. The issue of rape in our country is not declining. The issue of rape with impunity is not declining either. It is going up. You can sit in America here and enjoy the pleasantry of having Facebook. But what I can say to you, if you don't focus on the issue, one of these days you could become a victim, because there are people who have been victimized before in our country. Maybe the day you think, oh, I'm going to Liberia today because I think everything is quiet, I'm going there. But if you don't make sure that the security situation in the country is safe, you could one day become a victim. And then we out here will be talking about you. And this is now the time that you need to encourage these kind of video to be discussed on major platforms to educate our people. But if you feel because you live in another country, it's none of your business, your children are protected, well, society get a way of coming to people who are in a higher protective environment. It will spill over one day. And for us, what we do as independent supporters for a better Liberia that now support Mr. Cummings, our independent perspective, our independent view is not only limited to one political party. We see things in the society, we discuss it from an independent mind. We see a candidate, we support the candidate from an independent mind, because all Liberians should have the same equity in treatment and in benefits. We're not seeing those things in Liberia. So let's talk few politics. All right, let's talk few politics here, and then we'll call it a day. And I want to appreciate you guys who stick around, because this is a hot button issue. And until many Liberians get to understand that our society itself It's a broken society. Things are more open to being impacted in a negative way, rather than staying away from those things and enjoying the pleasure. It just goes to show that we are very complacent in the Western country we live. One thing I noticed about Liberians, it was during the refugee days when many Liberians were in refugee camp. Whenever they said the IMO were coming, and when I got to see that Liberians were very united, they all will walk to that place to go see their name. But because we have been drawn to the Western country now, we feel very complacent. Every one of us in our own environment, many of us are very complacent. So if it's not me, I don't care. I can just go and watch it like a regular television. That's fine. But we are literally harming the future of our country because one day you will retire. One day I will retire. But where will you retire to have peace of mind? When you see the wrong thing happening today and see nothing about it because you're not living in the country. But then when the time comes where you're not able now, then you won't go there now to go retire. Then you will be challenging the system. No. The same problem you will be challenging when you retire. It's the same problem that is happening today that you're not speaking against. So you are just part of the problem and not part of the solutions. That's what I'm trying to say here. But I can guarantee you, if I ever post something and say, Joe, we are door is too good to go to Liberia, don't get mad with me. Because if people like you and myself have been victimized because as they don't have justice, so why should somebody take their door from a protected environment and carry it to Liberia? Let's be real here. That's the truth. And I stand behind it. The country system is broken and it is unsafe for Liberians. So with that being said, let's come to this other video here. All right. And I look forward to more I look forward to more more comments. And I look forward to more comments. How can they analyze a video when they themselves don't understand the issue? Thank you very much, Emmanuel. This is a very honest comment here. This one here. I think the brother broke the camel back with it post here. Yes. That is the problem. Thank you very much. Is the community justice wrong when you can't get help through the proper channel? There you go, all the questions. And you see, these are things that you guys need to be discussing. You guys are supporting bigger platforms. You need to be raising this issue. You can have a voice. You have to present your voice. Go on the big platform and say, look, there was a rape in the country. Why can't you guys discuss these things? You got to push for your thing because it is you guys. These people are coming on. You guys are the one promoting them. But if you don't bring the issue out, how you think you're going to discuss it? They're not going to discuss it. You have to bring it out. Or you wouldn't waiting for it to happen to you, then you want other people to come and support you. You got to bring it out. Bring it out. Bring it out. Bring it out. Go on the platform and say, look, there is a rape case that took place in Kakata. The video is all over Facebook. Why are you guys not discussing these things? And if multiple people start to post those things over there, you will see the direction they will want to take. But if you go and sit over there, then you're not even helping the people back home. And your civic duty on Facebook is not really being represented. That's why it is. So let's come to politics a little bit. All right. Let's try to run the thing here maybe from now to 1 o'clock, and then we'll call it a day. Yes. Let's try to run it to 1 o'clock. All right. So this one, all right, we're going to look at the president's speech. And again, it's going to be non-partisan here again. We're looking at it from a non-political standpoint, but there's a takeaway that you can get from here, right? So let's get into politics. All right. Now, many of you guys have listened to this video here, but what I'm going to say to you guys about this video, those that have the ears to hear, I hope they will listen and learn from this. If you underestimate what I'm going to tell you, don't come to complain to me when it happens. All right? So here is your title here. All right? Oh, I got the wrong title there. Sorry, guys. I got the wrong title there. Let me put a red title there for this story here. Yes. All right. We got it now. Yes. Do not underestimate George. We are nonsense talk. Yes, why? Yes. Do not underestimate George. We are nonsense talk. I am going to help you to understand it. It's up to you. It's not a banning or binding obligation for you. But what I would say to you, do not underestimate what George Weah is saying to the people. All right? We just came from watching a video where people are taking advantage of. One of the reasons that continue to push that disadvantage is the fact that the people are not educated to knowing the right to vote for the right people. And if you ever think that what George Weah is saying is something that you should take for granted, then you don't understand Liberian politics. So do not underestimate George Weah nonsense talk. So let's get the ball rolling here. As you can see, we split the video into half. So we're not going to listen to what George Weah will say, and then I will give you guys the rest of the time. But thank you for sticking around. All right. One thing I would say here, the number of educated people in our country are far less than the people who are not educated. Secondly, the number of people who talk like me, they are more than the people who want to speak standard English. They will better understand the way I would talk than those who want to come and bring the American English. George Weah fit that profile. He fit that profile, and he knows how to play that. And if you ever think that what I'm telling you make no sense, think about what's happening across our communities, including the video you just watched. Did you hear these people speaking the standard English that we speak in America or in Moravia? Why should you argue with me that, oh, Rennie the Pope got their brain? But the issue remains unchanged. With that being said, I want us to take a look at Mr. Weah and listen to what he said. And we'll break it down for you guys. All right? So let's start the ball rolling here with Mr. Weah. And let's listen to what Mr. Weah is about to say here.
The reason in Liberia, Moravia is smaller. Yes. Today, if you go to Moravia, Liberia National Congress, bring it back. And if you check, we have built and we still building. Yeah, we built. Yeah. Family and friends. Members of the Martin Coalition for Democratic Change. Citizens of Liberia, members of opposition parties. Ladies and gentlemen, let me first of all bring you greetings from my dear wife and First Lady of the Republic of Liberia. She asked me to let you all know that she loves you. She couldn't make it because we just came from an ECOWAS. I have to skip ECOWAS meeting, ask for excuse to come to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let me start by, first of all, it gives me a good pleasure, and I want to say thank you.
Welcome.
thanks and appreciation for the support. I believe that this kind of support is not just members of our party, neither the we are sharing, neither the city sharing, but I believe that the diaspora Liberian should do this. Simply because I'm not here to represent myself. I came to represent our country and our people. Again, I say thank you. You left your busy schedule to come here. You went out there for hours in the rain, in the cold. Here we are. We end up in the hall. So that is important. But let me say to all of you, after the speech, I can inform you that Liberians around the diaspora in Liberia, they all are excited for the representation.
Now, the analysis start here now. All right? The analysis start here. One thing I want you guys to understand about me, all the major players in our body politics, from talk show hosts to opposition candidate, I follow every one of them. And that is why I always posting something. What the president said is true. One of his biggest critics is nobody else but that guy they call Costa. He wrote and said after the speech that the president did well, right? You all saw that. If you haven't seen it, go on my page. I posted that. So what the president just said is true. But what happened in a few days, in a few hours, he came out and said the president said, Morovia elects Miami, Florida. Now, what he trying to do, he's trying to play on your mind. He's trying to play on your mind. A man who said the president's speech made sense, but came by and said, the president said, Morovia looked at the state of Miami. He's pulling you into his own trap. But I will give you guys the reason why he's doing that. Let's continue. But George Weah know, when George Weah is talking in this way, he's not talking to you guys, the Irish people. He's not talking to you guys who support a political party. His message he's sending is going to major opposition leaders. And by him targeting them, he wants them to come out and counter those things. And then you'll be able to provide a counter to that too. So it's like he putting the water in it, because right now Costa cannot come back as an opposition for Boca and say, oh, the speech made no sense. Guess what? Sedition will start putting his message out there, and that will humiliate his trust as well. So that point number one, let's keep making the case here.
Opposition, no position, imposition, opposition, everybody happy today.
And you know why he's saying that everybody happy today? Because he knows the opposition will not respond. He knows that. He knows the opposition will not respond. And up to now, aside from those who are all out here who are providing analysis, have you seen the opposition coming to respond? No. And what they're going to do, they're going to drag it on. The week going to end. And then what they're going to do, come back maybe a few days later, it's going to be belated, because by then, new thing will be interjected into the society, and people will forget about that. And remember, you're dealing with Liberian people. You're not dealing with people of other countries that are supposed to react quickly. You're dealing with our people locally. So the instantaneous response to these things should not be underestimated. It's done with it. It's on video now. They're playing it all around. So what are you going to do? Come out later on? They're going to brush you off. So he said opposition, decision, all the people, they say they are okay with that. And nobody has said anything since that speech. Let me progress.
we will be going for our second term. As I said, I won't take long because you've been out for a longer time. But I think it's important. It's important that you, people in the diaspora, those that never had the opportunity to come back to our country. I know people told you about what is happening there.
Yes.
Liberia, when I came before you, or created the Liberia National Congress, and then it turned to the Congress of Democratic Change, and now the Coalition of Democratic Change. I said to you, if you give me this opportunity, I can guarantee you we will connect our country to the rest of the world. And what I meant,
So listen to that, folks. Listen to this, all right? Listen to this. He's coming to make a point here now. He is saying, and I'm trying to break it down based on how this campaign from the CDC is usually run. He's making a case where he said, when I came to you guys way back, y'all told me, I told you if I get elected, I will try to connect the country, right? That's why he said, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, because I will come back to make a reference to that. So let me progress here and listen to him.
closer to us, the Ivory Coast, Guinea, the ECOWAS region. Today you can see that we can drive from Monrovia to Abidjan to Guinea, and you got a paved road. Today, we can be proud to say for the first time, our country is 175 years old. For the first time, we have a free education. So, if what a catalog, if I name here, we won't leave from here. It's the first time. Just the other day I was on Facebook and someone said, the president said, he made more hospital than any president in the history of Liberia. And he said, well, I bet him. And then I tested him. I said, bring the bet. Bring the bet. And if you check, we have built and we still building. So we have built more hospital than any other person.
Now, here's the thing, folks. Let me bring it to you guys here. All right? Why you don't understand? Mr. Costa is working with George Weah, but you don't understand these things. You listen to him, one of the greatest critics of Mr. Weah is Mr. Costa. He listened to him all the time. I'm not here to blow him on, but I just tell you the foundation. Because when we campaigned for CDC, we knew who he was and we gave him the run around. When you hear the president say, I texted him, that is something that he tells you that he's talking to him, but you not believe it. But what I want you to do going forward, if you want to get it, because many of us have already done it, follow him all the time what he says and determine who are talking about more hospital than ever. Go on all the different platforms and talking about who are doing the more platform than ever. And you get to know. He also in contact with Mr. Witherspoon, because Witherspoon already working for them. Those are the two people because we people just coming into the whole program. But Costa been around for a very long time. But because Costa is very sneaky, he keeps to himself. He doesn't reveal to you that he communicate with Mr. Weir a lot. But there are times that we text each other to get to know what's going on. The baseline is Costa is working for George Weir. But he pretends as if to say that he doesn't work for him. I'm telling you, I know exactly what's going on. Believe me or not. But one day you'll come back because people have said the same thing and they came back before. Let's make progress here again. So listen to him talk again. Continue.
So every unprecedented thing you see today in the Republic of Liberia, you know that it's this party that you brought to the leadership. Yes. You know, I don't argue with a lot of people because they don't understand. You see, stuck all in their opposition and mind. So no matter what you do, you can tell them from that. But today, this is the first time. This is the first time I saw positive note from all the critics.
So now let's face the fact here, right? When he talked about positive note, how many of you guys saw that Costa man saying, I think the president's speech was okay? How many of you guys? Just tell me yes. There was a post that he put up and said the president did well. And I screenshot that and sent it. How many of you guys saw that post? I'm waiting for answer here. How many of you guys saw that post? I'm waiting for the answer. If you never saw that post, I encourage you to go on my page. The same Costa man came and said the speech was okay. He came out and said the speech was okay, right? Look, if you start with misinformation here, then you had no choice but to watch, right? So saying you putting on the misinformation because I know this comment is coming from Samuel Tour. You know, let me say this here, folks. The person that wrote this statement is coming from Samuel Tour. Why? Samuel Tour and I had a conversation before on GDET Talk Show in 2019. He told his audience that I was looking for a job for the EPA, and it stuck with most of them. But here's the thing I would say here to Mr. Tour, right? Mr. Tour on the same Sunday called me from America here in 2014, said that he could not get a job in his country and ran away to Liberia. While Mr. Tour was there working for Amara Corner, the EPA asked me to work for them, and I said no. Today, Mr. Tour is using the EPA as his own leverage. The reason the EPA is not functioning today because Mr. Tour and other ministers at the Ministry of Planning are taking money out of the EPA. I got that first important information. So what he does, when he see me come here to talk about the government, he tell these people, go out there and tell the people that really want a job. But you see my house I live in here, right? Built from the bottom to the top by myself, my own honest work in this country. But Troy cannot show you what he was when he was nobody in life, right? But he will come to these people and want them to come be relevant here, and I will address them all the time. When Troy lived in the United States, Troy never had nothing, absolutely nothing for himself, and he left from here. So let Troy show you guys where he lived in America, what he did in America here. As far as we are concerned, any structure Troy put down in our country was not there when he was nobody in life. He started putting structure down when he became minister. So Troy is more worried that he could get sanctioned. So when you see these people coming out here and say, oh, Randy is this because Randy don't have, this is Samuel Tour right here. Yeah, this is Samuel Tour. This is Samuel Tour. That's how he thinks. Mr. Tour is so afraid of his fellow Liberians because he feels so intimidated when God at J. Randy sit here. Let me say this. When he came to this country, I was in a one-room apartment. He came to my house. We lived together. I mean, he stopped there for some time, not a whole length of time. He came and spent a few hours there, talking around and carrying him to Upper Darby. He had nothing for himself. But why he afraid is because we know his secret. When Mr. 12 first got into that power of authority, he came out and said that he was making such amount with the African Development Bank in the Ivory Coast. When I posted the salary while he was still alive, I mean, while he was alive on that program, he got mad with me. He got mad with me and never spoke to me for a very long time. When we reconnected, he admitted to me that two things that hurt him. One, when I said that he was a truck driver in America, and that was not lying. And I think recently, George Soto verified that he was a truck driver. But I made that comment in 2019 that he was a truck driver. He felt very offended about that. The second thing that made him mad about me, when I told him that he was not making the money he was making at the African Development Bank in the Ivory Coast, he got mad. So what is he doing now? Whenever he and us talk back in the days, what did I tell him? I only want consultant. I even got text messages that I sent to him. But you know, Mr. Twe is so intimidated by me because I know his weakness. I know his weakness. So rather than he keeping quiet, he comes and pay these people here. He come and pay these people here to come and say, oh, Jay Rennie did it. But how come am I still surviving in America? I was living here, working here when 12 left from here. I was here when 12 came because 12 came to America in 2001. And he left from here in 2014 after going back and forth. What did he do here? Nothing. Nothing he did here. But he got frustrated and went back because he could not stand what America is all about. He ran back to Liberia. And then he started working for Amarak Conan. And he became a Unity Party supporter. And they gave him job to the Ivory Coast. So what he does is he comes here and want to kind of say, the man looking for job, the man looking for job. That's why he tell these people. But the very people in this community here and in this country, they know very well what it means for you to go through the rank and file. As an engineer in the country, I'm satisfied with my life. But Mr. Twe is so afraid. But I'll get news from Mr. Twe. I am getting information that Mr. Twe is redirecting the money that's supposed to go to the EPA. There are some ministers at that Ministry of Planning, Ministry of Finance, Planning and Development, including Mr. Twe, that are suffering money from the EPA. I wonder the reason why the EPA is not doing well. So, Mr. Twe, I got that information from a very important source. So, whoever here, send a video to Mr. Twe. I got that information that you and other ministers at that ministry are enabling corruption within the EPA. And very soon, Mr. Twe, that information I got, it is going to be reported to the Department of State because it is a written information that I got, Mr. Twe. So, as a friend, I am going to be the first person to report that to the State Department that you and other ministers are misusing the fund that's supposed to go to the EPA to fight against climate change. So, Mr. Twe, get ready for that information. I personally will report that to the State Department because every Liberian is entitled to report whatever misfinancial information or misappropriation of fund to the places. I'm going to report that, Mr. Twe. So keep on coming and say, oh, the man looking for job, the man looking for job. You left this country here with nothing. You ran away from here because you couldn't stand the struggle. And then you want to sit over there and want to be passing around. Please, Mr. Twe, you got more problems to solve in our country than to be worrying about J Reindeer, right? I was here when you arrived here. I'm still here. You left from here. And perhaps you might be brought back to the country here in chain to go to jail. And I will one day visit you too. There is a possibility in that. So please, don't let the low-life individual, because these people that he gave information to, these are low-life people. They cannot even live in my basement here. They cannot even live in my environment here because they're not fit to live around here. They don't have a qualification. But because they are so dumb in their head, like my wife said, don't go too extreme with describing people because you don't know who support you. But I would just say this to those who come here in our shape and form. You guys are nobody. All right. So let's get back to the weird analysis here. I just thought it was to address the situation here. But Mr. Tour is hampering the function of the EPA because he controls the money. He's not giving the EPA the power to do what he's supposed to do because he's in a role where they are actually taking money from the EPA and using it for themselves. That's why he worried. And I know where all the funds are coming from are going to the EPA, but Samuel Tour is taking the money out of them. Yes, he is. And it is a living proof that I have because somebody within the government gave me that fresh information. But I can tell you guys right now. So I challenge Mr. Tour to come out here. But I can say this, that information has been written. I'm going to submit it to the State Department with your name on it, Mr. Tour. Good luck with that. So let me progress there, folks. Let's listen to Mr. We are here. Like I said, don't underestimate what he's seeing here, right? So let me progress there. You're trying to send it, you're trying to send the tip to him, right? You're trying to send it to him.
They say great speech. Thank you. But you see, there's always but.
That's okay.
It shows that the state opposition. Great speech. Great speech. When do they work? But let's see what you're doing.
So now, folks, that great speech the president is talking about did not come from any opposition. It was Costa who said that to the president. And that is why he's coming out here and saying the opposition say. But have you heard from any opposition, whether it's Boka, Cummings, Yuri, Kanga, have you heard them saying anything about the speech being a good speech? No, only one person who said that. And Mr. Wiana is taking that to capitalize on it. He's taking it to capitalize on it because he is the voice of those people. Yes. All right. So that's why it is. So let me progress here. All right. Let me progress here.
It tells you that there's nothing to say. No. I think they should agree that we have done well. And based on that, Liberians will give us our second chance. Remember, they told you that this young man, he's just a footballer, he knows nothing. It's impossible. How you can trust your country with this man? It's impossible. The only thing about know is feet. The ball feet is clever, he doesn't have a head. But I don't know when in this world, what kind of human beings, the feet can react, not the head. If the men that are wonderful feet, if you have to suffer from it, and the feet is good, don't you think that's the mind working? If the mind can work, the feet will never work. So we meet there every time we travel. So we need to plan a visit to all Liberians in the diaspora. When we started the CDC, I remember vividly when I came to Minnesota. Yes. I went to Liberia National Congress in LA. And I met Samuel Tour that night. My cousin, the late party chair, they said they wanted to see me. I told them I was tired. And the sister they got to see me. And I met them that night. And then I told Samuel Tour he's the chairman for diaspora. And we move on from there. And then the CDC got stronger. But all the opposition is still remain a strong party. Yes. We went through 3 elections. Some were favorable and some were not. But we kept calm.
Yes, yes, yes.
We kept the country at bay. Yes. And the only reason we did that because we were inspiring for leadership. With all peace, no matter what you do, you can achieve what you want to achieve. Yes. So we kept the peace because we knew that we wanted to change our country. Yes. Everything that happened to us in the opposition or cycle, we endured it, and we waited for the Liberian people to be able to confident. And here we are today. And even people that thought that as opposition we should be bashing the government and insulting the government, these are the people today. They are opposition. And they believe that insulting the government is the right way. And causing problems. Remember, we're all together. So we know them. Yes. We know them. Sometimes to Facebook commentator, sometimes to what have you. But we know them. But again, we had to weed out people for the instant.
So this one need no introduction, right? So this one need no introduction. There are two components to what he's saying here. One, the ANC came out of the CDC and they're criticizing the CDC today, but they were part of them. Today he says something to Facebook commentator and they are criticizing. He's including us in our group. So he really sending a message to his people that look, these people been part of us before. But guess what? They have criticized, they have said things, but these are the same people who today saying that the speech was right. So he categorically put people in different categories, but he tried to blanket the whole thing to say the speech I gave today, the speech was okay. But I also want to understand, but these people used to be with us before, and because things went not so good for them, they got their show, they're talking here and there. But what he's not saying is some of the things that I am doing are the reason why the people left. And have I faced these things? I'm not too sure. But am I willing to reach out to them? He's not saying those things. So what he's doing, he's just giving the red meat to the base. He's feeding them the red meat and they're eating it and believing it. That's what he's doing now.
To be a true representation of you. I remember a lot of people were leaving CDC and most of our leaders were crying, no, they will not want everybody just leaving. And I said to Samuel, I said to her, I said, did well. A good thing ready to happen. Bad people.
And you see, guys, this is exactly where Samuel 12 wanted to be. You see, before, it was always McGee. Whenever Joe Weir used to talk, he always would say, yeah, my man, McGee, McGee, McGee. But those who are saying that Samuel 12 helped to set up Nathaniel McGill, they are right. Because now, who name Mr. Weir is calling now? Samuel 12 now. That's exactly what Samuel 12 wanted. That's exactly what Samuel 12 wanted. Because before they say McGee or everything, Samuel 12 was just a shadow moving. But today now and going forward, only his name because he wants that power. He wants that power. And he's becoming a very dangerous person now. Yes, Samuel 12 is becoming a very dangerous person. And I'm hoping that the next sanction will bring his name up because he's going to be more dangerous now than even Nathaniel McGill because he won't draw nearer to Mr. Weir to be the new prime minister. Take this from me. He's trying to get closer now to George Weir. McGill is out of the picture now. Some people say he testified against McGill. I will not rule that out. He's he could be part of that plan. And that's exactly what he wants. So keep your eyes and your ears. Whenever you see George Weir talking, Samuel 12 is going to start popping up more often now than McGill. Why you think all the other ministers in the government cannot talk? How many ministers are they? 26? I don't know. Why you think all the ministers in the government cannot talk? Have you ever sat down and asked yourself? Because Mr. Twefy, he knows everything. That's why no, not all the ministers in our government are bad. Some of them just going to steal to sustain their lifestyle. Some of them just want to be in the government because they cannot work as well. But they don't want to be out there for you to notice them. Some of them got good idea they want to bring forward. But as you hear Mr. Twedney, that's what he want. If you were to sit with some of the ministers, as I have sat with some of them now, if you will hear them telling you about Mr. Twelve, you'll be afraid and you will not blame them. The only reason you will blame them is they should quit the government now. But some of them got nowhere to go. They can't come here to Mitina, St. Lester. They can't come and be ministers. They can't come and be supervisors here. So they got no choice but to stay there and take the trash that I've been throwing on them. But that's exactly what Samuel 12 wanted to have. And he now got it now. But he's going to be very dangerous. He's going to be very, very dangerous. All right? But the other man say here again, that our State Department own our country, go report. Look at the other good for nothing mayor. He doesn't even know the country he lives in, what the State Department does here. These are some of the low-life individuals in this country here. You know how many times the State Department has done a lot of things to many countries around the world? Isn't the same State Department that issues sanction? These guys, I will tell you guys, these guys are wearing clothes and sitting down on picture. Their brain are correct. So don't mind some of these guys. And you know, these guys are nobody. They are good for nothing people. They in the country, they don't know anything. These are people who go to where they live where training and say, hey, look, yeah, somebody will go do your job. Or the white beginner and say, yeah, somebody will go do your job. A guy like this, look, don't you pay attention to the kind of guy, man. He's very irrelevant here. Very, very irrelevant. These are the people that got in this country here with no attention here. Let me progress here. And, you know, he's very insignificant here.
So don't worry. Sometimes better to win at the small
Very insignificant individual here.
big group that has problems. So today we are here. And I can tell you, my friends and family, you know, some of you, you say, well, we now suffer for the party. But how come nothing coming to us?
That's it.
I want you to listen. You see, if you're a patriot, the first thing you think about is your country and your people. You fought for this, for your child to have a free education. Yes. You fought for this, so our institution can build their own buildings. You fought for this, for children YSP to be paid. Yeah, you the parents, because you believe that you don't have anything, but what about your child that going to free school? Right. Don't you think that's something? When you raise in Liberia, Monrovia is smaller. Yes. Today, if you go to Monrovia, it's like Miami.
Okay. So this is a very crucial part of the analysis here, right? All right. So before we get to Monrovia, it's like Miami here. Here's what the president don't want you to understand here. One, he said, y'all want us, you're asking why is that for us behind the party here? And then you got most of them saying, yeah. Now, if you think a Sekou Kalasco was sitting down and not part of the government, and Samuel 12 was sitting down and not part of the government, and every one of them over there were not getting any benefit from the government through a minister or stuff like that, do you think the comment Mr. Weah made will be appreciated by those who sat over there and say, yeah, 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 yeah. This is how the calm behavior of Georgia is shown to the people. He wants those who listen to him to believe that those who are saying, but what in it for us? He wants them to see those people as bad people, right? That they are not good people. But at the same time, those who are there enjoying building houses, being sanctioned by the government, he sees nothing wrong with that. But that is the calm behavior he has. How he calm people into believing that he got a good message. And that message will resonate with the people, because when the people won't hear that message, man, you can't wait, man. You're wait. The president dream well. And everybody can be in government at the same time. But the very people in government, if they were not in government, they themselves would not be feeling too good about the idea. Now, he said that and he's trying to say what he has done. Let's come to the issue of the Morovia Logla Mehame issue now, right? He just said it, but we'll backtrack a little bit and then let me provide some clarity on what is trending now, or let's say what was posted on Facebook here. So let's bring it back a little bit here and listen to him again, all right? And then we'll stop it to that place.
You see, if you're a patriot, the first thing you think about is your country. Yes. And your people.
Okay, so this is a guy who talk about patriotism, right? He say, if you're a patriot, when he took office as a patriotic Liberian, he never put the Liberian people first. He ran straight out there and started putting up structure that you can total up to 49 units today, right? He built and bought many lands and other property in the country. I think those of you who follow me, you saw the information that I posted out there. So where is the patriotism that he's talking about here? When he put himself first. So let me progress here.
You fought for this, for your child to have a free education. Yes. You fought for this, so our institution can build their own buildings. Yeah. You fought for them, for children YSP to be paid. Yeah. Yeah, you the parents, because you believe that you don't have anything, but what about your child that going to free school? Right. Don't you think that's something? When you reach in Liberia, Morovia is smaller. Yes. Today, if you go to Morovia, it's like Miami.
Okay, so what he said, right? Before, Morovia used to be modded up, but today Morovia is like Miami. Then you got that other crook who came out and said the president's speech was okay, Mr. Costa. Now he's coming back now and saying the presidency, like Morovia, is like Miami. But what he failed to tell you guys, and this is where many of you guys will not agree with me, because I'm an independent-minded person. I put the truth where the truth belongs, and I put the lies where the lies belong. So he's now coming up now and saying the president wouldn't say, oh, the Morovia is like Miami. But now that you heard it here, let us go through the next step after what he said. All right? And then I will try to explain that here for you guys. So let's listen here. Let's listen here to him, right? Okay. Ready? Go. So people are clapping now because he said Morovia looks like Miami. Now remember, he said the place used to be modded, the road used to be modded. Now listen to how he going to expand on that.
If you go to Barnes Way, you can pass through Johnson Bay. Yes. There's no more. The first time I went to Johnson Bay, we got in office. The first day, we decided, let's start a road project. Let's go to the first place, Johnson Bay, that Johnson Bay road. We went there, for all the sophisticated vehicles, bulletproof and what have you. We could not use that Johnson Day to go to the driver market. Banana driver market. All our tire puncture, we had to turn around. Even the continent that we brought from Ghana, because they this is not possible. And we went back. We spent almost 2 hours on our road. And it was just 10 kilometer road. But we could not pass by the church, never the church. We turned around. Today, you can drive for 10 minutes and on the other side. So I listen to the opposition and say to you, Liberians, that the man will give you one turn.
All right. So now here is what the president was trying to say here. And I'm not saying this thing because I support the president. What I want you guys to understand, there are some people in the opposition that are using you out there and using you like a puppet. The same gentleman who said the president's speech was good, turn around and say the president said Morovia is like Muhammad. But why he didn't tell you, and I'm going to challenge you, the president said model rule, and then he said, since I became president, when you go to Ghannaville, all right, when you go to Ghannaville, the Baba rule them, it's not no more money. So what he was trying to say, the comparison he using, it was not a perfect comparison, like leg for leg, but he was looking at it from a rural connectivities. And that's why he said Morovia is like Miami. But he was not being specific in terms of the rural connectivities. And now, folks, I'm not here to praise Mr. Weir. I'm just being a very honest person to give my own analysis. He said the road used to be muddy, but today the road is not muddy. Morovia look like Miami because the road is not like the way it used to be when you go to Ghannaville or the Papa Road, and then people clapping, and then he said, I used to live in Miami before. So what he was trying to bring to the picture here is the fact that the road that he thinks that he traveled on is what he looking at that making the say it look like Miami. So if you want to criticize somebody, make sure you get the full criticism and break down and say, how can that man say they play look like Miami when he only talking about the few road in Ghannaville area? Is that why he said it looked like Miami? But no, he's not saying that. He's just saying the president said the road, the country, they say it looked like Miami. But there's the same man who said the president's speech was good. So I just want you to understand that these guys are used to you guys. And this is where I will come in and really let you guys know. All right. So he did not follow through on what the president was saying. And he should be doing that, because when you extend what the president is trying to say, then you get to know how the president think and how his thinking capacities are, that he gets see little things and be like somebody say, my house look just like the one in America. Does that mean your house is in America? No. Or does that mean that house you got in Liberia is America? No. There are things that you see that may resemble certain things, but the way you say it, it could be interpreted differently. Some of you guys will move around and say, tell me, the food that we ate over there, just the food in America. Does that mean that the food was cooked in America? No. I'm not here to support the president. And see, this is why many people will not like my business, because I come in defense of the truth. And that is why I am an independent-minded person. Yesterday, the same Costa man said Mr. Cummings was what? He was an affirmative action person. And I said to him, you're wrong, because you don't understand how America works. So the independent mind that I have today is to speak the truth and to be stand by the truth. That's why you see, I don't go to church in this country. I don't go to Liberian people church, because many of us don't accept the truth. But in my weak way, I will try to speak the truth. So let's go back again and listen to what he's saying here, right? All right. Not that I'm trying to defend the president, but I want when somebody tells you something, let them give you the full landscape of what they're trying to say, not to be very, very selective. All right. So that's just who I am. And that's why I don't support. I mean, I'm not going to join a political party. I can support somebody today. If you do the wrong thing, I will tell you say you're wrong. That's who I am. All right. So the independent supporter of Mr. Cummings is originating from the independent supporter for a better Liberia. But we just decided to throw our little handkerchief behind Mr. Cummings, but that doesn't mean that we support Mr. Cummings. We now have designed a new strategy of not blending ourselves to stay with one political party. All right. Now, let's go back here again. All right. Let's go back here again. And now that I said it, I want you to pay attention. So we are going to talk about model role, and you're going to talk about the role in Granville, and then he's going to see that role and perceive that role as something that he once saw in Miami that making the same Moravia, Miami. Is he talking about the whole country? No, he's only talking about that specific role that he enjoys. All right, so let's go back to that again, folks. Let's go back to that. All right. So those who having that little gibberish feeling, please just understand that I'm trying to be very honest here in my analysis. So let's go back to Mr. Weir again and listen to him.
Let's start a road project. Let's go to the first place. What is your country? Yes. And your people. You fought for this, for your child to have a free education. Yes. Yes. You fought for this, so our institution can build their own buildings. Yeah. You fought for them for children YSP to be paid. Yes. Yeah, you the parents, because you believe that you don't have anything, but what about your child that going to free school? Right. Don't you think that's something? When you reach in Liberia, Moravia is Mali. Yeah. Today, if you go to Moravia, it's like Miami.
Okay, so he said that today when you read the road is muddy, but when you go to Miami, I mean when you go to in fact, let me go back again. Let's go back again. I don't want to misconstrue because this is very critical here. Let's go back to here again. Let's go back.
For this, for your child to have a free education. Yes. Yes. You fought for this, so our institution can build their own buildings. Yeah. You fought for them for children YSP to be paid. Yes. Yeah, you the parents, because you believe that you don't have anything, but what about your child that going to free school? Right. Don't you think that's something? When you reach in Liberia, Moravia is Mali.
Okay, so when it rain in Liberia, Moravia is muddy. So he already gave you the description of Moravia. That is, when it rain, Moravia is muddy. Let's get that one. Now, what is he trying to connect now? Without muddy, Moravia, what is he trying to connect next? Let's pay attention here.
Today, if you go to Moravia, it's like Miami.
Okay, so today, when you go to Moravia, because yesterday when it rained in Moravia, according to his understanding, it's muddy. Today, when you go there, it's like Miami. So the question here is, the reason I pause in the air now is for us to ask, what do you mean that today look like Miami? What do you mean by that? Now, let's listen to what he's trying to say now. Listen. Okay, so you're hearing there. He's saying, mind you, I live in Miami. So let's see, let's wait for him, because he already said Moravia, when it rained, Moravia look like Miami today. But mind you, I live in a place. So what are you trying to say? What are you saying that make you think that Moravia is like Miami? So let's follow through on this one now.
If you go to Barnes Bay, you can pass through Johnson Bay. Yes. There's no mud.
Okay, so before when it rain, it's muddy. But this today, Moravia, it looked like Miami. I live there. Now, when you go to Bonneville, you can go through the place, you can go through the place, it's not muddy. So what he's trying to look at is the road connectivity that he saw in Miami that is giving him the sense that the same connect road connectivity, it may not be at the same development level, but the fact that he can manipulate his way by driving in Bonneville to take different roads that he sees doesn't contain mud, and he live in Miami, and when it rains, it doesn't get muddy up, according to him, not me. It's the reason why he's seeing that Morovia is like Miami. And the only thing is, he based it on the road, not the entire city. So when people come out here and want to just blindfold your mind for the sake of your own human intelligence, that I call the HR, all right? Human intelligence. You know, they got the artificial intelligence that is the piece of electronic device. But we as human beings, our human intelligence, the HR, is more super advanced than the AI, which is the artificial intelligence. You've got to be able to pay attention to those things. All right? So let me progress on this. Let's see how you finish it up here.
First time I went to Joseph Bay, regarding office, the first day, we decided, let's start a road project.
So now Johnsonville is in a same geographic of the Ghanaville area. So he expanding now into what he actually said Miami is like Morovia. So essentially, he wouldn't look at the road connectivities in our Ghanaville area that makes him to think that Morovia is like Miami only based on that road connectivities. And that's why he's trying to expand on in the third description that he decided to open up a road project. Let's listen to him.
We went to the first place, Johnsonville, that Johnsonville Road. We went there with all the sophisticated vehicles, bulletproof and whatever. We could not leave that Johnsonville to go to Driver Market. Driver Market. All our tire puncture, we had to turn around. Even the container that we brought from Ghana, because they were this is not possible. And we went back. We spent almost 2 hours on that road. And it was just 10 kilometer road. But we could not pass by the church. Never the church. We turned around. Today, you can drive for 10 minutes and on the other side.
So there where he concludes that, folks. There where he concludes that. So essentially what the president is saying make no sense in the comparison, but it makes sense in his own understanding of how he perceives a road that he can take that connect the different communities in the Ghanaville area. That kind of remind him of Miami, specifically with the road connectivities he's seeing over there. So when somebody come to tell you, oh, the president said Morovia is like Miami, please use your human intelligence and say, what does he mean by that? What making to say that? If you don't ask that question, there's something fundamentally wrong with you. If somebody says, oh, Mr. Comey is a gay, you're not going to take that. What makes you think or why are you saying that? And that's where our human intelligence should come in. We should learn to challenge things. Because if we don't do anything with prayer, the same man who said the president said, Morovia is like Miami, the same man came out and said the president's speech was good, right? So the same people who agree with him when he said the president's speech at the UN is okay, and then the same man come by and say, oh, the president said Morovia is like Miami. You agree with the man saying the president's speech is okay. Now you're coming by and disagreeing with the president when the man say, oh, the president said Miami. Then what kind of human being are you? This is why people don't like me, because you know what? I always say the truth. And it's very hard for people to find me like this to work with. And that's why I don't go to church. Because those who go to church, especially the Liberians, they don't believe in God. They don't believe in the truth. The truth hurts, but it must be mentioned. It must be broadcast. I'm not here to support Georgeville. But if you want to make Georgeville we are a little bad off. Give the people the reason. Don't give them the menu and say, oh, you see the food here looking very nasty or it's looking very sweet. The man, when they're looking at the picture, but let the man taste the food. So the picture can be verified by the taste of the food he eating. So what that guy is doing, he giving you the picture, but he not giving you the actual ability to taste the food. The president message is okay from the UN. Yes, nothing wrong with that. As far as I'm concerned, okay, then you take it. But you're not asking about what make you to say that. What are you basing your judgment on that is okay? You're not accepting that. Then the person can again say, oh, the president in Miami was not the person in Miami, Morovia, the president say Miami is like Morovia. Then you go accept that. Then what kind of human being are you? And this is where the platform comes in, and we come in with different things. So let me see what my brother said here. He said, a fellow politician made his observation on we are speech does not mean that he cannot say something to the contrary. Yeah, but the contrary of what the person is saying has substance in it, Pastor. When you say people should believe in Jesus Christ as a pastor, that's the reason why that make people to say, yes, believe in Jesus Christ. Because somebody else can come and say Jesus Christ is nothing. I can come right now and say, you know what, Pastor? I need for Jesus Christ to give me sugar in the wine right now. And you say Jesus Christ is Son of God? Yes. Can Jesus put sugar in my tea right now? Yeah, the tea right there waiting for you now. Let's wait for Jesus Christ to put tea in, to put sugar in here right now. I'm waiting now. I'm waiting for Jesus to put sugar in the tea right now. Where is Jesus right now? That he can put sugar in the tea here right now. You say he's the Son of God. He made everything possible, right? So why can't he put sugar in the tea right now? I'm waiting. But I can get her and go to that table there and bring the sugar and put it in the tea here. But what you would tell me, you would say, you know what? The Bible says you should learn to be patient. Lean on the Lord with all your heart and lean not onto your own understanding. My own understanding about God being powerful is to say, I need sugar in the tea right now. And if God doesn't put the sugar in the tea here, he's not the God that I want. But the Bible says what? Trust in the Lord with all your understanding and lean not onto your own understanding. That's how you will convince me that the God that you're talking about, he respond, but his response time is very slow. But I would say, you know what? I want something right now from God. You say he's powerful, right? So let us not justify this thing based on our own identity. When somebody say the president's speech is right, ask the person for the detail. Why are you making the president's speech to be right? If somebody say error is an error in the chair, I say, I know error, man. You can just get that name or whatever, I mean error. You say, no, Randy. They may be an error because these are the different steps in the Christianity doctrine that this man has gone through that qualify him to be an error. Let me see some of the things. Well, he did this, he did that, he did that. Wow, more detail. Now I see why I'm making to be an error. That's what I may not telling you. That's what I may not telling you. So you need to understand. This is what we call logical thinking. This is not just broad thinking. This is logical thinking. That is where I'm coming from, error. All right. People cannot just put their personal opinion on things and you just accept it. You gotta be more detailed. Okay, what makes him a politician? He is a mere face. I mean, if you can be a politician, that's fine. But I just want him to be very concrete. Already, some of our people take. I'm not going to read. I don't want one. Because if you think about it this way, right? All right. If you think about it this way, all right. For some speech, okay, but that's not, okay. If you think about it this way, all right. You church people. All right, they want you to get into DBA now. So here's the thing here, right? All right, so let's look at some timeline here. Let me just get rid of this thing. Let's look at the timeline here, right? The very guy we're talking about here, I hate to talk about him, but he lies too much, right? This guy came out and said, Mr. Cummings got his position based on affirmative action. Do you think if people are getting affirmative action job in the country, now people are going to be getting jobs? Let's look at the guy yesterday who came. There was a show right after with all due respect, those of you that watched the show yesterday, right? So this guy came out yesterday and after the show brought a video where this guy came from Liberia, and he said he don't want no other job because he came with a university degree from Liberia, right? So he went and met this white guy who interviewed him and said, "Okay, is yeah, sanitation engineer. That's what that's the job he gave." So he thought he was going to work in the office setting, right? But he ended up that he was going to be a regular janitor. So he came with a University of Liberia degree. If that was affirmative action, came with his degree, why he couldn't get a job that he wanted? If affirmative action is being based on that. But based on the interaction that they had in that drama, why they should have he got a university degree, he wasn't qualified for the position that he was seeking for because he doesn't have the experience. So when this same guy get up and tell Mr. Cummings, "Oh, you just got a job because of affirmative action," you know Mr. Cummings worked with Phillips Company. He worked his way out into corporate America. And John Kokokoro, are we going to say that it's because of affirmative action? No, affirmative action comes with some requirement that you must meet. So when he come out today and say, "Oh, the president's speech were better today," the many people say, "Yeah, I think you did well." And then he come out and say, "The president's speech, the president said Miami is like I mean, moreover, is like Miami," and you're not asking for more detail, and then you agree with him. Then your HR, your human intelligence is very bad off. Your human intelligence is very bad off because he dictates to you. You are now become his AI. He uses you to get things done because you are like a robot. He said, "Turn this way." Yeah. Then he take the remote control and control you, go this way. He said, "Go that way." Then you turn around, he control you. No, don't be a robot because you have your own human intelligence. And that's why I bring to this show. When I'm analyzing things, I want you to get your own human intelligence or anyone idea. Learn to challenge things. Because if you don't do it, people are very smart to figure you out and start to use you. They are very smart to figure you out and try to use you. You see, we engineer the thing that set us aside from mathematician. Most people want to think mathematically. Mathematician will tell you 69.9, trap that 9, run it up to 70. We engineer will say, keep that 0.9. There are more numbers in that 0.9 that can make something better. And that's where our logic extend behind math. So when the guy can tell you the speed was okay, he telling you to drop the 69, run it up to 70, and then you grab it. When he come and tell you, say, the president said, moreover, is the Miami, he telling you to drop that 0.9 and run it up to 70 and accept it. But we as engineers, we say no. 0.9, that plenty number over there. Let's look inside that 0.9 and see what sense it make. So when I come to politics with that kind of mindset, it changes things and people struggle to understand some of us. And there where people will disagree with me. And there where I stand because of the logic that I try to bring to this platform. It's very hard to understand, but with the few that listen here, you will understand one of these days that the very people you behind, they are nothing but con artists. Nothing but con artists. They only using you, and in the end, when they get there, they will tell you, the acting low here, we can't teach anything here. But then it will be too late because by then you would have been used. And that's exactly what the president was talking about here. All right? That's exactly what the president was talking about here. All right? So do not allow your human intelligence to be controlled by somebody. Because that same person got the same human intelligence as you. But it is only you that will condition your human intelligence to be used in that way, which is not helpful. So guys, thank you so much for the show. I cannot go further with the conversation. I think the message that I wanted to put forward, I think the message has already been put forward. And I want to say a big thank you. So guys, thank you so much to every one of you guys. I enjoyed the time. I am now signing off to go do one or two things. Thank you guys so much. Now, do not forget, do not allow your human intelligence to fool you. Now, as part of the conversation, the president said some interesting thing here. He said, how can a country be 175-year-old when you get somebody who is 75? It's time for us to give old people, young people the chance. He's trying to pave the way for young people. Maybe Samuel 12 may want to run. Maybe Jefferson may want to run. So he paving the way for them too. I didn't hear him really coming after Cummings that much, but he went after Walker in the speech a lot than Cummings. So that means something positive is in Cummings' corner. But I know most of the people on the other side, they don't let to hear the truth. And once he start talking about we are the all running away. But that's J. Randy, all right? I'm not looking for a job from anybody. I'm not supporting, I'm not a member of any political party. So most of the time, I will speak my mind. I will speak my mind. And if you need it, then you work with me. If you don't need it, just let me know. I will find ways to move on. I'm not going to compromise my integrity. I'm not going to compromise the truth that I believe that God gave me for me to lie to people. No. When I was young, going to the Bible school, that is the study, Bible studies, I learned a lot from the Bible study that became part of me, not to see the truth and hide from the truth. I see many people today who profess to be men of God. When it comes to identifying themselves with things, they toss the Bible all on the ground, not under the table, but on the ground, and then they take the wrong side. But then when they're in that position and something bad happened to them, they want to defend it against the Bible. But when it happening in a positive way, then they want to bring the Bible in. I don't operate like that. My belief in the Bible is like a constant variable. It's straight. It's like the speed of light. You see, when you get a flashlight, the flashlight light doesn't bend. Unless you beam it on an object that distract it, it will show, but it will still be straight. That's who I am. So everyone here, you gotta, you gotta accept me. Somebody call me to say, oh, won't you be on the organization? I say, I only want to play in the advisory role. I don't need a position here. I want to play what an advisory role. Because as an advisor, I want to be the referee. There are times things will be wrong, I will call it out so we can fix it. There are times things will be right, I will commend it. But if I become a member in a position, when things go wrong, you'll expect me to make that right decision in favor of you and not for the sake of everybody. Our country, Liberia, is challenged. People want you to take side, even when the side is wrong. And I'm not going to sit down like that. I just want to be in the middle. If you do the right thing, I will praise you. If you do the wrong thing, I will criticize you. That's who I am. And that's why I will remain here until God call me home. I can only visit Liberia because the country is so bad off that if you try to do the right thing, they will get rid of you. So staying outside and providing what I call support to the problem and solution, it will help. That's just for me. But it's not going to be a better place. And you know why? I will only agree with many of you who don't agree with me if you give yourself from now to the end of this year that you relocate to Liberia. If you tell me, say, Randy, everything seems make no sense because you know what? Every one of us who disagree with you, we are going to be packing our load to go back to Little Liberia for the rest of our life. And give up from now to December. We'll say bye-bye to wherever we are in the world and we're not coming back here. Now, when I will agree with you. But you know that what I'm saying is the truth. And you cannot go back to Liberia because the economic benefit, if you're not part of the status quo, you will not get it. But here and other places, you don't have to be part of the status quo. You are only part of the requirement that is you need, like your work permit, your ability to work, and then you can get any job you want. So with that comparison, my words tend to be what it is. This happened here, Randy, guys. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity. All right, my words here doesn't mean that I don't support Mr. Cummings or I dislike Mr. Weir. No, I dislike Mr. Weir policy, but I love him as an individual. I support Mr. Cummings, but I will not agree with everything Mr. Cummings will say or do, including those around him. And the reason here is I believe in a better Liberia and not in an individual or a political party. If you understand those two things that I'm guided by in life, then of course you will like to follow me and you will like to see things. Until then, I see you guys. What might begin real again? Michelle Obama went to Princeton University through affirmative action. Do you think she sat at her house and benefit from affirmative action? No, she went there and she had to get through that because the people feel that give the black man a chance. When he get out there, he will do the best he can. All right. So guys, see you guys. Bye.